Living with anxiety or depression can make everyday situations and interactions seem impossible, and getting the right help can be expensive and inconvenient. We're changing that with Tranquility. Our program follows the highly effective gold standard, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people change negative thoughts and unhelpful behaviors by teaching them skills to practice in real life. Using Tranquility is convenient. You can move at your own pace from your phone or computer, and you don't have to do it alone. Your one-on-one coach is there to help keep you motivated and supported all the way through. If you're ready to unlock the tools you need to approach the day with confidence, visit tranquility.app to sign up for a free trial.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Vidane TV, here for another Tim's Corner Motorsports Special Events Tranquility Super Late Models here at Oxford Plains Speedway Raceway, here for the DC Auto Super Late Model 250 long race here tonight at Oxford Plains during the Oxford Plains week here for Tim's Corner Motorsports. Very excited here. This is Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. Usually I'm down in the production trailer, but I figured I might come up here and join my friends for a quick little wobbly pop here up in the production trailer. Speaking of friends, up here with Mike James from Eastbound and my good friend Kyle Young. Great to have you guys up here. Another Tim's Corner race here on a Friday night. A little bit of super late model action. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, good, buddy. I thought for sure you were going to enter with good. But you didn't.
Can we do it over? Can we do it over? We only got a minute left in qualifying. Next time.
It was
next time.
Big night, night number 2. The big show tonight, Kyle. 250 laps on the board. We got to see 150 last night for the ARCA series. Unfortunately, due to the commands that were set at the beginning of the race, we finished under caution. So Mike Alexander in the 75 ride took the big win last night. Kyle, you ready for a big show tonight?
Oh, absolutely, Mike. And a big show indeed it is. As you mentioned, 250 laps, and we have a full qualifying procedure to go through before we even dive into that 250 lap event. So that is going to make this a very lengthy event, but it should be a fun one. Oxford Plains Speedway, a very unique racetrack. These guys starting to get way more familiar with it over this past week, and we should be in for a very, very good show and a very unique one nonetheless.
We want to give a big shout out to Tranquility Online, so you can check them out online, tranquility.app for all your mental health and support. What a great app, and big time shout out for supporting local short track racing here in Atlantic Canada, and also our friends from DC Auto from Torbay and Fort McMurray. Got a couple of his drivers in here tonight. I believe Chris Reed and Kyle Reed, and as well as Jason Goss are in here for qualifying. But Kyle, we're going to see top 5 from qualifying. We've just seen that. We're already starting to grid for 3 heat races, which we will take, I believe, 3 for the big show for the Tranquility 250. So we're gridding already. Look at that. Mike Alexander, our winner from last night on front row, and he's got Joey Arsenal on the right side.
Inside of row number 2, we've got the number 38 machine of Travis Rome, and his dancing partner on the outside is going to be the 88 car of Caden Tucker.
And on the inside of row number 3, Colin Matthews last night ran the double-double. Tim Hortons tonight, I believe he's in the cat car. He's going to have Evan Osborne in the 8 car on the outside of row number 3.
Row number 4 will consist of the 25 car of Chris Ewing in position number 7, and Chris McKenna in the 18 car will start.
And in our final row, we are still waiting on Craig McDonald, who was 3rd place last night. But we're going to have the 99 of Gerald Gallant and Nicholas Codner, one of the DC Auto drivers from Torbay in the 54 car. Craig McDonald not making the call, Kyle. Not very good, because that car was a fast car over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'll set him up for a long night for sure. Hopefully he'll be able to get out onto the racetrack at some point during this heat race and potentially better his starting spot for a LCQ later on tonight if he so happens to have to run that. So here we go. Pace truck's going down onto the pit road. Green flag is out. We're heat racing for the first time. Mike Alexander jumps out to a very early and easy race lead. The number 3 machine and Joey Arsenal is going to do the same thing, and then they're side by side for third.
Yeah, a lot of side-by-side action for the 3 back to 6. Caden Tufts, Travis Roma, Colin Matthews, and Evan Osborne fighting it out back there. But now going a little bit single file now. But the 88 hanging out to the outside, trying to tuck in there. Going to be close quarters with Caden Tufts, but he managed to get it in there.
Whoa, big 3 wide there in the back of the pack, and it results in a spin. The 18 machine, Chris McKenna, has gone around after that one. Looks like he's got it fired and pointed in the right direction. We stay green flag. That is obviously not what McKenna wants to see. He loses touch with the lead pack. He's going to have to hope something else happens if he wants a shot to qualify here through this.
And look at that. Craig McDonald in the 98 does make it for the dance, and he is on the track, but he's down 3 laps. So unfortunately for Craig McDonald, he's going to have a hard time to make that up. Looks like he's going to be ending up in the LCQ, a little last chance romance after we finish these heat races. But it's all the 75 of Mike Alexander out front, our winner last night for the DC Auto 150. Tonight showing very comfortable in that super late.
Got a little side-by-side action going on here with the number 65 machine of Colin Matthews and the 8 of Evan Osborne. Osborne is taking over that position. He has done so successfully. That opens the door for the 54 of Nick Conner to try to do the same exact thing. Conner working the inside of the 65 car. He's got the advantage coming off at turn number 4. He'll have the spot at the line, but not clear quite yet. Now he does going.
That outside line was really difficult last night on the ARCA series, so teams do not want to get out there. Sometimes you'll see the competitor push him out there, a little scrub, but Nick Conner come from all the way from the back now, making up halfways. He's got 5 laps to get up there. We got to take the top 3 for the main event. Travis Roma is in that transfer spot in the 38 machine. Caden Tufts in the 88, just on the outside, having a peek at the 38.
Got another spin there in turn number 3. The 98 of Craig McDonald goes around. He spun it all by himself to the outside of turn number 3. No caution flies. Again, he is multiple laps down for missing the start, so that's not a very good ordeal to have to deal with there after a missed start. So the struggle continues here for McDonald, but we stay.
And we're having a peek at the 75 of Mike Alexander, and look at the time, fastest time of the day here, 14:89. The closest competitor to him would be a 14:90 with Travis Roma. Mike Alexander out on a Friday night cruise here with 2 laps to go. Looks like an easy ride for the 75.
White flag flies for the 75 of Mike Alexander. It absolutely has been an easy ride. He's been out in front this entire way, has a 2.5 out the rear view mirror, and he will easily cruise to heat race victory and transfer himself to the Tranquility Online 250 later on tonight. Joining him will be the 2nd place finisher Joey Arsenal and the 3rd place finisher Travis Roma. Those 3 drivers will transfer on. Caden Tufts is 4th, Evan Osborne 5th, Nick Conner in 6th, Colin Matthews 7th, Chris Ewing in 8th, Chris McKenna in 9th. Gerald Gallant has gone in position number 10, and then as mentioned, Craig McDonald rounding out the field in position number 11. Those guys will all have to fight it out in an LCQ.
Yes, they will, and that's going to be a battle royal as we've always seen in these LCQs. Last chance for romance, so we'll get to see them a little bit later, but we're going back to the grid, Kyle, and we got our big favorite, the 83, Corey Hall, sitting on the pole, and he's got Stephen Lively on the outside of row number 1 in the 130 machine.
A great-looking number 97 car of Riley Duncan going to take up the 3rd place position on this grid, and Ethan Miller's number 80 machine will line up to his outside and start in position.
Ethan Miller taking off one of the first races here at Oxford earlier on the season. He's got a win under his belt, but the next row will be the 57 machine of Corey Hallett and the 52 of Kevin Cormier.
The Texaco Haviland number 73 car of Dave Horton is going to line up in position number 7, and the 93 car of Tony Wright will be to his outside.
And completing the field, the 111 Craig Weigel, and look at that, the 15 car Matthew Barkhouse, one of the top cars in the TCM Special Events. That's Mike Alexander's brother, and we've seen Barkhouse take a few wins here this season. So having a big car at the back of the field is going to make this heat race a little bit interesting, Kyle.
Oh, for sure. He did not throw it out on qualifying lap, so he's got his work cut out for him here. 12 laps to gain 7 positions. We take the top 3 here in these heat races, and he starts scratch on the field. We know that he is the type of driver that can do it. The question of will he do it or not is what is going to be seen, left to be answered. So that should be fun to watch that charge. Pace truck is on to pit road, and Corey Hall gets off to a monstrous start. He has left the field in his dust heading into 1.
Yeah, Mike Alexander, Corey Hall, don't mess around with the starts here. Usually when the pace truck does exit, they fire right away, and it throws the rest of the competitors. So if they're taking notes here in the heat race, they're going to have to write that down, because those 2 top competitors don't mess around with these pace trucks. As soon as they get the opportunity to fire, I've noticed over the last several weeks that these guys don't mess around and they just fire all of a sudden.
It'll be very important to keep an eye on that. The leader has so much control here on these restarts. As soon as that pace truck ducks down onto the apron, you can fire. And we've seen so far that our pole sitters have taken advantage of that. Long race tonight, probably going to have a handful of restarts to deal with. So that'll be a fun thing to watch throughout the entirety of the event. We got a little bit of contact there. Stephen Lively goes around. He had some help for the 97 of Riley Duncan.
Yeah, not sure if the black flag's going to be called on Ethan Miller there, but I believe it was Ethan Miller into the 30. No caution is called here. That's going to really open the door for the 97 and the 80 right now.
Yeah, we stay green. It was a single car incident, so no caution flag necessary. We'll see what race control decides to do on that as we do stay in the green flag run. And Matthew Barkhouse, he's made his way up a few spots. He's up to position number 7 right now in that number 15 car. He is trying to challenge the 52, closing in, looking to the inside down the very short front stretch. Up in front of him, though, the 73 car of Dave Horton. He's stuck on the outside and has a train of cars coming underneath of him.
And Corey Hallett right now making that 4th position in the 57 ride. Needs to catch up to the 80 of Ethan Miller on the top 3. He is the transfer position. Lots of real estate between himself and Hallett, but we got 4 laps to go, Kyle. Can Hallett reel him in that short of a distance?
Going to be challenging. It's a 1.2 second gap behind the number 80 car until you see the 57 again. They're coming off of turn 4 right now at the line. We'll have 3 to go, and that gap has decreased by 1/10 of a second. So Hallett is catching him, but he needs to pick up the pace, because that 1/10 of the lap is not going to do anything.
Kyle, this is where you need to cheat and have a NOS button.
Absolutely, a NOS button would work great.
Yeah, Van Diesel would approve.
Oh, without a doubt. Corey Hallett now, though, he's starting to have another threat closing in. That's Matthew Barkhouse in the 15 car. Barkhouse from 10th to 5th, and he's trying to go for 4th here on the final lap. We'll see if he's able to make a move. He looked like he might have tried to make a nudge. Now he's looking to the inside of the 57. The 57 slams the door. He pushes up the racetrack. That'll open things back up for Barkhouse. Will he get there? He slides, makes contact, and does not do so. So Corey Hallett will hang on to 4th. Barkhouse will be 5th. Up at the front of the field, though, it is Corey Hall who takes the win. Riley Duncan and Ethan Miller, your 2nd and 3rd place finishers, and transferring on to the Tranquility Online 250 later on tonight. After Hallett and Barkhouse, we have Kevin Cormier, Dave Horton, Tony Wright, Craig Weigel, Stephen Lively, all missing the show and going to the LCQ starting up here in just a few minutes.
Corey Hall with a with a 14.83, very fast lap for Corey Hall, so he's setting himself up for a big night here against Mike Alexander. They came 1 and 2 last night in the ARCA Series, but we are back to gridding for heat race number 3, and look at that, the 13 car, David Cassidy, and the 99 of Brandon Campbell on row number 1. Campbell having a beautiful night last night.
Row number 2, we will see the number 19 car of Ryan Walsh on the inside and Jason Goss in the 41 on the outside.
In row number 3, the 00 of Tam Woolridge, and he'll have Todd Cousins in the 2 in row number 3.
Dawson McKinty's number 119 machine is going to start in 7th here in this 3rd and final heat race, and Craig Tully in the number 5 will be his dancing partner in position number 8.
And on the final row, Noah Healy from Newfoundland, the 84 young gun in the Bandolero Series at Eastbound Park, will complete the field. Barrett Bonner in the 4-car has not made the dance, so we will hopefully see Barrett Bonner. Earlier on, we had a few cars so far have missed the call. Craig McDonald was late by 3 laps, so hopefully we'll see Bonner before we get into these LCQs and see if the veteran can get up there. He's had a couple of big races over the last couple of weeks, but we are almost set to go. Lights are out, Kyle. We are going to go racing. It's going to be Campbell and Cassidy on the front row.
We will go green flag racing this time by, once again, 12 laps the distance. The top 3 cars go straight into the Tranquility Online 250. Everybody else is going to have to fight it out in one of 2 last chance qualifiers that will follow this 3rd and final heat race. We've seen how important that leader has been on these starts. We'll see what Dave Cassidy decides to do. He's waiting. Looks like Brandon Campbell's trying to get the jump. He may get...
Oh, no!
Goes around.
He did not fire, and the rest of the field just checked up, and Jason Goss is going to pay the price.
Yeah, that was a big-time mistake there by Brandon Campbell. He was trying to get the jump on pole sitter Dave Cassidy. Dave Cassidy is the control car. It was not Brandon Campbell's responsibility to start this race. So some of the guys in the back started to see Campbell fire. Dave Cassidy knew that Brandon was doing the wrong thing. He held off for a minute, and it caused some chaos behind him. So, Mike, this will give us our first opportunity to bring Paul in up on the replay booth.
Taking a look at the Shed Life Shed Movers instant replay here. We're going to look right at the start, focus in that number 41 of Jason Goss. Now, one thing I do want to make mention here, as, we'll take a look at the wreck here. 13, well, it was just kind of calamity, as Mike made alluded to last night.
Let's give you a new word. It's called tangly.
Tangly. Well, they got all tangly because he drank too many wobbly pops. But we'll take a look from the inside of the cockpit here, the 41, before we get back to the caution laps. Now, one thing to keep in mind here with the iRacing server, we see a lot of these guys, they jump as soon as the pace truck dips off down to pit road. Essentially, anytime the leader can go anytime from when that pace truck hits pit road to when the flagman waves green flag. So most people anticipate that as soon as they're able to go, they'll go. And in that case, we saw they didn't go right off the rip, and Dave Cassidy did a great job holding everybody up, and just kind of caused a little bit of a accordion effect there.
Maybe Dave Cassidy's been listening to broadcast, because myself and Kyle were just talking about Corey Hall and Mike Alexander's strategies on these starts over the last several weeks. Those both competitors do not mess around, and they usually fire as soon as that pace truck is out of the way. So very hard to judge on that outside line here in iRacing. A little bit different than real life, so that you can get a feel for it. So you almost want to be ready to go, but we're having a peek here now at the 119 and the 84 as they were rat-a-tat-tat-tatting on lap number 5.
Yeah, getting a little gitchy, da-da, some race car marmalade action there under caution. Not entirely sure what was going on there between the 84 and the 119. Looks like
I think we missed some racing while we're jammering here.
Well, we're still under caution, so we'll jump back up here with Dave Cassidy. Lights are still on the pace truck. I don't think I missed anything.
No, with how quickly that caution flag came out there on the initial start, iRacing doesn't tend to like that too much, so it sent everybody around the field as wave-around cars, and we have extended this caution flag to get everybody back lined up the proper way. Brandon Campbell kind of messed that up there, and he spun into one of the little sand dunes on the inside of the racetrack and got stuck there for a minute, so he's trying to get him back into his proper position. And because of that little wave-around ordeal, this is going to be a single-file restart instead of double-file. So looks like we're all set. Pace cars is on the pit road, and we're back to green.
Well, we get a clean start right now. Dave Cassidy fires. This single file restart really messes things up for the back of the field, as Jason Goss has a huge amount of real estate to make up. The 41 was in row number 2 at the initial start of the race, but because of that accordion effect, he's got a lot of movement to go. 4 laps to go, Kyle. It's going to be a quick one because of that long caution.
Great little battle here going on for the final transfer spot. Ryan Walsh in the 19. He's getting the bumper from the 5 of Todd, or the 2 car of Todd Cousins, excuse me. Cousins on the aggressive, trying to get underneath. He is underneath. Trouble behind him. The 119 gets the bumper. He slides, overcorrects, and spins in turn number 2. We're still green for now. Cousins takes over the transfer spot.
Well, the Dexter Riley, the 119, stuck in the middle. That's going to bring out the caution here, as I believe he was just in the way of the leaders as they came around, did not attempt to move. So that's going to be a black flag for the 119 as we get a restart here. I guess we'll see a green-white checker.
Yes, it looks like we just saw the lap counter jump back up, so Tim Terry gets the extra cookie tonight because he remembered to check that box that said green-white checkered, as we missed out on that last night. And I actually made the running joke tonight. We were only going to run a green-white checkered. 3 laps, in, out, bing, bang, boom, pay me, we're done. But we'll take a look here, just rewinding the instant replay. Going to take a look here at the Shed Life Shed Movers instant replay, and looks like, well, we'll show it to you in real time here from the blimp view. Switch that on over, and you can see the 119 just kind of trying to get around, gets a great big old shot there from that number 41 car, and does a great job trying to hold on to it. Unfortunately, comes right back around as he comes up the banking, and well, didn't really do too much to try and get that thing going. A lot of times he can grab a gear and get rolling, but had to throw the caution because unfortunately he was just stuck right there in the racing groove. So tough break for the 119. He's going to be a lap down. Don't know if he's going to be able to move his way up to a transfer spot here in the Conti with only 3 laps to go. Or here in the heat race, rather. But we will see him in the last chance qualifying race.
Well, it looked like Jason Goss really wanted to get up to the front where he started on row number 2, but unfortunately, the 119 of Dawson McGinty was a little bit of a slower car, and I guess you'd call it a shot to the nads. That was a bit of a shot from Jason Goss into the rear.
Shot to the undershorts, I believe was the term that Tim has taught most of us here in the past
nads,
couple of months.
The nads.
The nether region, as it were.
I think that's Scottish, isn't it? Nads.
It may very well be. But good opportunity here just to thank everybody watching
what
on
are we
Facebook
talking
Live.
about?
Talking about some racing, some Tranquility Super Late Models here for Tim's Corner Motorsports. Just want to thank everybody for watching Vidane TV over on the Vidane Facebook, as well as the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook. Also over on YouTube, that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 1080p stream. Be sure to check that out on the big stream. Any kind of smart TV you've got that has the YouTube app, just do a quick search for Vidane TV. Boop, pops right up with the live feed. And also on Twitch. Any gamers out there that want to check out our Twitch feed, we stream the same thing over there. Twitch.tv/Vidane Racing TV. And be sure to give us a quick follow as we're trying to build that page up. But lights are off on that official pace truck of iRacing, getting ready to dip on down left and bring us to green, Kyle.
Green flag flies. Here we go for our first green-white checkered attempt. Dave Cassidy runs away from the field, and Todd Cousins gets turned by Ryan Walsh. Caution flag flies. Multiple cars piling in. Looks like at least half the field's going to get a piece of this one. Todd Cousins was in it. Ryan Walsh was involved. The 5 of Craig Tully got a piece. Big calamity in turn 1 on our first attempt of a green-white checkered. Big shot there. Who was that made that shot? The 84 car of Noah Healy. He had a big, big impact on Todd Cousins.
Yeah, rock and roll. The 2 car just did a 720.
Taking a look again here from the blimp view, and it's crazy how we're getting a lot of these wrecks right on the restarts. I'm sure we're going to see a single file restart after this, but yeah, not entirely sure. It looks like the 2 car almost checked up before he came on down, and you can see just about everybody involved. 2, 5, the 19 there, he's able to grab a gear. Lots of damage on that car. So luckily these guys are going to be able to start with a new car in the last chance qualifying race. They don't necessarily have to take the damaged sheet metal on to try and qualify for the 250 here later on tonight. But man, it's these restarts in this heat race for some reason. It's the heat race that never ended.
I think the first start of the race just missed everybody up. Nobody knows who's going to fire, what's going to come down the point, because Dave Cassidy's been on the hammer all 3 restarts here, and I think it's messed with everybody's mind here. And just then, everybody was kind of checking up right away, but Dave Cassidy fired that time, did not mess around. As soon as that pace truck was out of the way, Cassidy fired and messed the whole field up again. Not Cassidy's fault, though. Not pointing the finger at Cassidy.
Nope, that's one of those things here on iRacing.
Or elbows.
No elbows, no drop kicks, none of that. We're just saying, we're calling it as we see it.
I called Todd Cousins doing a 720, so I was really good at math in elementary school. That was actually more like a 180.
So that's like 33.3% of a 720. That's that Steiner math you were trying to work on.
33% of a 720. It would be 25%. Your math is horrible.
I went to a technical high school, so we didn't really teach math. We did the math with the letters in it.
Oh, well, it's better than the math that they teach the kids now. You got to learn how to read. I try to teach my kid how to do math, and I'm like, what the heck is this, man? It's like a page-long paragraph.
One thing I'm seeing right now, the ticker's showing final lap, and looks like we're just going to get a one-lap shootout here. The green flag flies, and then the white flag flies, and, well, it looks like Dave Cassidy with another great restart. He's got about a 10-car length lead over Jason Goss in the 41. Tanton Woolridge, double I. He's going to be in the third spot, but for how long?
Campbell being very aggressive, but he's going to come around as Craig Tully is now making the move, but it's going to be a final race here for the top three. Dave Cassidy, Jason Goss, and Tanton Woolridge for the big three. So that was a bit of a, I don't know what word you would describe that last heat race, but definitely tangly fits in there well.
I would say that's a safe bet for sure. So here we go. Now we are on to the LCQs. We've got two of them. We have two last chance qualifiers going on. They will be 25 laps in length, and we will take 4 cars to the Tranquility Online 250. This first one, we will see 11 cars, so we will send 4 to the race, 7 will go home. Your pole sitter in the number 88 car is Caden Tufts, and he will have the 5 of Craig Tully starting second.
And on the inside of row number 2, the 15 car, one of the strongest cars here, Matthew Barkhouse, but he's got another strong contender, one of the all-star competitors, Nicholas Codner, part of the DC Auto team, in the 54 car.
Inside of row number 3, we have the number 84 of Noah Healy, and the 73 car of Dave Horton will be your 6th place.
And in row number 4, Chris Ewing is supposed to be on the grid. He's still on pit road. And next to him will be the 19 car from Conception Bay South, the Newfoundland car, Ryan Walsh.
Rounding out your top 10 starters, we've got the triple Uno, the 111 car of Craig Weigel, and Gerald Gallant in the 099 starting in 10.
And we are still missing the 4 car of Barrett Bonner. Chris Ewing in the 25 on pit road has rejoined the field, so he will make the dance here for the first of 2 LCQs. This is last chance for romance. We usually see a battle royal. We are going to take a couple of cars out of this for the main event for the Tranquility 250 presented by DC Auto out of Fort McMurray and Torbay. It is going to be a rough one here. I can just sense it.
So we've got 8 out of the 11 cars that are scheduled making the call. Caden Tufts fires as soon as that pace truck gets out of his way, and we are underway with our first last chance qualifier. Tufts in the lead, Matthew Barkhouse in his second, and then they're brawling for P3. That is Nick Codner in the 54 and Craig Tully in the 5. That now settles out with Codner ahead of Tully. Lap 1 is in the books.
It got a little rough there between Tully and Weigel and Codner and Barkhouse, but then now straighten it out into single file racing. The 5 of Tully trying to reel in the 54 of Nicholas Codner. 2 laps completed. We got 25 on the board, so a little bit longer than what we've seen in the heat races. I got a funny feeling the gloves are going to be coming off for this one, as a lot of these cars are going to be vying to get into that big 250 here at Oxford.
Yeah, these last chance qualifiers exactly twice as long as these heat races, so potentially some patience being shown here out of these drivers, kind of relaxing, trying to figure out their groove and their rhythm and see what they've got for the competition. There is 1 extra spot on the line in these LCQs compared to the heat races. We take 4 instead of 3, so right now your top 3 looking pretty stout. Tufts, Barkhouse, and Codner kind of separating themselves from the field. Then you got Craig Tully right now in 4th, who's kind of in a world of his own. He's not with the top 3, but he also doesn't have 5th on the back counting him for that final spot. So I guess it's not a bad place to be if you're the number 5 car.
You know what's exciting about these iRaces? In this race right here, we have the 84 of Noah Healy Bandolero superstars here at Eastbound Park, but we also have Nick Codner and Caden Tufts, also Bandolero drivers, in our top 3. So it's pretty cool to see some of the variation of drivers here in the TCM Special Events, but always cool to see one of our rising superstars in the Bandolero series leading the way out front with several in the hunt behind.
Oh, absolutely. That's been one of my favorite things about a lot of these Tim's Corner Motorsports events is that you get a lot of guys from multiple different disciplines of racing all coming together and having some fun on the iRacing service. And at least for the majority of these guys, they're racing cars that they don't race in real life. So that kind of makes it even more entertaining, something that they're not really too familiar with. But let's be honest, at this point with all these TCM events that we've been doing, they're probably used to these super late models now.
Oh, these guys are definitely veterans, and Caden Tufts being one of them, being very patient. A little wobble there, almost opened the door for the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Codner just leaning into it here, lurking back there like a great white shark, waiting to chop into the 15. Wants to make the move, but is showing patience here as we get close to the cross flags. Halfway, almost there, cross around the corner here. Will the Barkhouse hold on before he makes his move? I got a funny feeling in the next couple of laps you're going to see that 15 make that position change.
Does not take long to click laps off here at Oxford Plains Speedway. These guys running 15-second lap times, and just like that, we're halfway through it in just about 3 minutes of racing. So things don't go by very slowly here at Oxford. It's a very rapid pace racetrack. We see right there as we're watching the leaders, trouble for the 84 car of Noah Healy. He is rejoining the racetrack after some type of issue. That is going to be a big problem for him as he is way on the outside. He is now 1 lap down in position number 8. So not at all good if you're Noah Healy, hoping to have some type of yellow flag to get an opportunity to come back and contend for this one. But right now, it's looking pretty good. Tufts, Barkhouse, and Codner showing the way. Craig Tully has extended his gap on 5th place Craig Weigel, and we're coming to 10 to go this time.
Yeah, if a caution comes out, Noah Healy is showing 2 laps down now, so he's back on pit road, so that's probably going to be the night for the 84. Congratulations, Noah Healy, for putting on a bit of a show here. Unfortunately, not going to be your night. Hopefully we'll see you back. But it is a huge battle. Look at this. The 19 checking up, and a little tat on the 111 of Craig Weigel as Ryan Walsh showing a little bit of impatience trying to get around that 111. Tries the high side, but we've seen over the last couple of days here at Oxford, very difficult to get to the outside and make a move.
Yeah, Ryan knows that he's running out of time to try to reel in the 5 to Craig Tully. He's all over the back bumper of the number 111 to Craig Weigel. That kind of stacked all of them up, and Dave Horton got into the back of the 19 car as well. If they can't figure this out, nobody is going to have an opportunity to run down Craig Tully, and with the distance that it's looking right now, it may be too little too late. That gap is over 2.5 seconds long, so unless a caution flag flies, these guys might be fighting for really just a consolation prize of who is the first man out.
So we are taking 4 or 3 on this one.
We've got 4. We are taking the top 4 in both of these last chance qualifiers. So right now, Craig Tully in the number 5 car, he holds on to that final transfer position in this battle that we're watching between Craig Weigel, Ryan Walsh, and Dave Horton is not for any transfer spot at all. And that gap continues to increase, Mike. That is now a 3-second gap between the 111 and the 5. So unless the caution comes out, I think these guys are in trouble.
And I think the spotters right now have to be zeroing in on their drivers and telling the 88 and the 15 and 54, relax, boys. We are going to the big show. This is just a qualifier. Do not mess things up here because 4 laps to go. You do not need a battle right now for that lead. It doesn't really make a big difference for the qualifiers. They will probably make a couple spots up in the lineup for the main event, but right now that top 3 need to be a little bit of patient here on the last 3 laps as they are in the transfer by a huge gap right now, and they do not want that caution to come out right now.
Yeah, I think they're doing a really good job of that, Mike. They realize that this is a 250-lap feature event. The difference in 1 or 2 starting positions in a race that long really does not do too much. It's a lot about survival and keeping yourself out of trouble and being around in the end. So we've got half a lap to go. We know the caution flag is not going to come out. The patience is going to work. Caden Tufts going to lead the entirety of this LCQ. He will win it. Matthew Barkhouse is going to come home in position number 2. Nick Codner will round out the top 3. And then the 4th and final transfer spot does, in fact, go to the 5 of Craig Tully. That means that Craig Weigel, Ryan Walsh, Dave Horton, Noah Healy, Chris Ewing, and Gerald Gallant are done for the night. They will not transfer to tonight's Tranquility Online 250.
And we hope to see them back for another TCM event. A lot of regulars in there that are not going to make the show here. But right away, we are gridding once again for the final battle royal for the LCQ. Last chance for romance. And sitting on a grid, he's now entered the 57 of Corey Hallett. And he's going to have the 8 of Evan Osborne on the outside of row number 1.
The number 99 machine of Brandon Campbell is going to line up in position number 3, and Kevin Cormier will be starting in position 4 in his 52 Toyota.
And in row number 3, the 65, the double car. Tonight, the cat car, that's Colin Matthews. He's going to have the 2 car of Todd Cousins on the outside.
Row number 4 will start off with the number 93 car of Tony Wright on the inside in 7th, and Chris McKenna in the 18 car will roll off on the outside in 8th.
And in row number 4, the 19 car of Dawson McGinty, Stephen Lively, and completing the field, that 98 of Craig McDonald. Folks, that's a quick car on the front. He was 3rd place last night. Once again, Kyle, we have a fast car at the back. Little bit more laps on this one. Those 15-lap shootout heats is very difficult to go from the back to the front without a caution. So Craig McDonald has a lot of work to get up to that 4th position with a lot of stout drivers in front of him.
Indeed, he does. Twice the length of the heat races. We will go one more 25-lap LCQ. We've got 4 spots remaining in the Tranquility Online 250. We've got 11 guys vying for him. Who will make it? Who will not? The green flag flies, and it's off to a great start for the 57 of Corey Hallett. Oh, big contact. We got one car flying off into the grass and nearly making contact with the outside wall, I believe, and it is the 18 of Chris McKenna. He gets off the racetrack. We will stay green, but that's going to eliminate him from tonight's event.
Oh, very unfortunate for the 18 of McKenna. Did not get to see it as we were chasing the leaders, having a look at the 99 of Brandon Campbell. So we did miss out on that last action. Hopefully we'll get to see it a little bit later, but it's all the 57, chased by the 8 of Evan Osborne, Brandon Campbell, Kevin Cormier, but they are all single file call, very close quarters for that transfer spot as Colin Matthews on the windowsill just looking in.
We've got trouble in turn number 3. Craig McDonald has turned around the number 93 of Tony Wright. Both cars get it going. We stay green flag. The aggression of Craig McDonald has gotten the best of him. He was trying to make a move to the inside of Tony Wright. Did not do it the right way. Spins the 93 around. He got caught up in it and lost a lot of time. So now he is in trouble and is going to look for a caution flag to catch back up.
Well, very frustrating night for the 98 of Craig McDonald. Missed the call earlier on for his heat race. Was 3 laps down when he started. Just did not been able to make it work for him in the heat race and finds himself all the way to the back because of that horrible display of the 3 laps down in the heat race. So we are seeing it right now. Craig McDonald has a big venture ahead of him. 6 laps completed of tour, 7 laps of 25, so still lots of time. Hopefully he can get a caution here and be able to rope everybody back in. But big battle right now is the 8 of Evan Osborne takes the inside of the 57. Kyle, we got a new leader.
And Osborne makes the pass for the race lead. Corey Hallett was trying to drop down in front of Brandon Campbell, could not do it. Now he gets the bumper from Kevin Cormier in the 52 car. Cormier backs off and lets the 57 have it. So nice little break there for Corey Hallett. Looks like he was going to get freight trained right to the back of this line of race cars from the race lead. So he falls in line into P3, still in a transfer position. But Kevin Cormier looking very, very strong in that 52. Clips a little bit of the inside curbing. He's got a mirror full of the 65 of Colin Matthews. He knows he has to go, and he is trying to get around that 57. He looks faster.
Yeah, the 57 now in a little bit of trouble as that 52, give him a kick in the nads there earlier, pushed him up the track, but I think he felt bad, came off the fuel, allowed the 57 back into rotation. But right now the 52 does look a little hot, but he's got a lot of trouble behind him as Colin Matthews in the 65, as well as Stephen Lively and Todd Cousins trying to come up through as well. Cross flags coming around the corner here as lap 12 is almost completed. It's all Evan Osborne and Brandon Campbell to the front.
Top two drivers have separated themselves from the race field, but they've got trouble. Evan Osborne is getting held up by the lapper of Tony Wright. He boots him out of the way, but that it does not come at a free cost. Evan Osborne loses the race lead to Brandon Campbell. Tony Wright getting in the way. Fortunately, those two guys still have their advantage over third place, but they flip-flop positions. Now the 99 of Brandon Campbell moves into the race lead. That could have been very, very bad for Evan Osborne, but fortunately he's able to hang on to that number 2 position.
And we're seeing a little bit of a server issue with Brandon Campbell as he does the Houdini on the 8 car of Evan Osborne, but looks like he's got it straightened away there. Hopefully he's got the wife turned off the streaming service upstairs, and he can complete this race. Brandon Campbell in the 99 looking good here. 10 laps to go. It's Campbell, Osborne, Hallett, and Cormier in the transfer for the Tranquility 250.
So far, everybody in that back pack have been playing nice with each other. We've seen a little bit of bumper contact, but nothing too aggressive as of just yet. You know that is going to change, and as soon as I see it, we got the 65 into the back end of the 52. He spins. They both spin around. That is going to knock both of them out of relative close proximity to a transfer position. Cormier had it. Colin Matthews was going for it, and now they are both on the outside. The caution flag has flown for the first time in LCQ number 2. Oh boy, that is going to change quite a lot. Stephen Lively loves it. He now moves into 4th and is inside.
Looking at the Shed Life Shed Movers replay right now, you can see 65 just got in there kind of hot, got in the back quarter panel, number 52, the yellow and Hulkamania colors there. He got around all right, and the 52 just kind of stomped on the right in the racing groove, but it looks like everybody gets by scat-free, grabs a gear, gets rolling again, but he's going to be restarting here. Last car on the lead lap here in the number 52, so that's going to be tough to do with looking like we're probably going to restart with about 4 laps to go here at Oxford Plains.
Big advantage for the 98 of Craig McDonald, who will start on the inside of row number 4. And that inside line generally is a little bit of an advantage on his restarts as long as everybody plays the game and stays close to Brandon Campbell and lets that outside line rest outside. But right now, McDonald's in a pretty good position right now in that outside row number 4.
You're absolutely right, Mike.
Inside.
You're absolutely right, Mike. It's all about the game and how you play it.
But you need friends to play that game, so we'll see what happens here on this restart. Now, Brandon Campbell, we haven't seen him on the restart here yet, but we've seen quite a lot of competitors have fired right away as soon as that pace truck enters pit road. We've seen a little bit of tangly situations when they don't fire. We get a bit of an accordion effect or domino effect, but we'll see what the 99 has for us. Evan Osborne, I know, is for sure going to be looking for that quick restart. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, he's going to want to try to get himself down to the inside line as soon as he can. He knows that if he stays out there too long, he could very easily get shuffled out of a transfer position, and that is not what you want to have. So we're crossing the start-finish line now. This is going to be a 3-lap restart. No extension just yet. 3 laps to settle it. Brandon Campbell in first, Evan Osborne second, Corey Hallett third, Stephen Lively now 4th. Those are your transfer cars. You got Todd Cousins in 5th, Dawson McKinty in 6th, Craig McDonald in 7th, Kevin Cormier in 8th, and Colin Matthews in position number 9, all on the lead lap trying to get their way in. Bit of a blink there on Brandon Campbell. He comes back. Green flag is out, and we've got immediate trouble. Corey Hallett, Osborne, caution is back out. Oh, my.
Now, do you pin this one on Campbell for the server issue where he blinked and then a delay on that start?
Oh man, I really don't know. I kind of think that's Hallett just kind of coming up and making contact with the 8 car. Evan Osborne, at least to me, looks to be a completely innocent victim here. Paul, what do you think?
Definitely a solid maybe on that. We'll have to wait for the league administrator, Tim Terry, to take a look, and it actually jacks up our replay. Yeah, Houdini, now you see me, now you don't. A little bit of...
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, a little bit of John Cena action from the number 3. You can't see me, and we'll back this up again. We'll get a little bit better replay. It's one of those things with iRacing. If somebody disappears, the camera doesn't actually follow them because, well, they're not there. So we'll follow the 57 here from the blimp. You see the 99 gets a great start, but he disappears. The 8 gets around, the 57 gets around, the 2 gets a piece of it. He comes up into the 52, and the Klondike car and the 65 Cat car, they kind of pancake into each other. So I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of damaged cars there, and Grand Camel right now, 99, still your leader. So we'll have to see if there's any kind of penalty there.
I don't want to be up in the booth right now.
I think the booth is the safest place to be. It's down in that administration towers where you got to worry about.
That's what I'm talking about. What do you want to? There's some hair pulling up there.
Yeah, there's cat fights and all sorts of stuff. So we're looking.
I'm gonna lose my girlfriend over this kind of situation.
So it looks like we will line the field up like this. This will be our first green-white checkered attempt, and that has shaken everything up. Brandon Campbell is your race leader. Stephen Lively in the 130, he is going to be in position number 2. Dawson McGinty is 3rd, and Craig McDonald started scratch on this field. He is going to line up in position number 4. He is in a transfer spot. Can he hang on this green-white checker? Kevin Cormier outside looking in. Colin Matthews will make up row number 3. They are having an opportunity to recover from their issues and are staring at the transfer spots right in front of them. Here we go. Pace truck is off. Green flag is out. Brandon Campbell leaves the field. Dawson McGinty follows it. Great restart for him. He is underneath of Stephen Lively. He takes over 2nd. McDonald looking for 3rd.
But what a beautiful move by the 98 as he was on the outside and crisscrossed onto the inside in front of the 30. McDonald with the move of the night here on the final lap takes over that 3rd position, but it's all Brandon Campbell in the 99 in front and Dawson McGinty in the inside of the 119. So our top 4, Campbell, McGinty, McDonald, and Lively, taking checkers here for the transfer into the Tranquility 250. But what a move by Craig McDonald to be on that outside of row number 2 and then manage to squeeze in there and hold on to that spot. Kyle, what a night so far.
Great charges for Craig McDonald and Stephen Lively. They started in the final 2 positions in that LCQ, and they were able to grab the final 2 transfer positions to make it into tonight's Tranquility Online 250. So that will set our 22-car field. We are ready to go. The field will have a few minutes to make some final changes and get things ready. So while they do that, we will send things down to the front stretch for our national anthem before the Tranquility Online 250.
Okay, folks, we'll get ready for the national anthem here. If you're able to, would you please rise for singing of O Canada?
O Canada, our home and native land.
True patriot love in all of us command. Quatre ombres se porte l'épée, il se porte la croix.
From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Drivers, start your engines.
Well, Kyle, that was a pretty interesting heat race qualifiers. A lot of romance on that LCQ. Are you ready for some racing? Here at Oxford, it's DC Auto presents the Tranquility 250. I'm pretty jammed up. Last night we seen 150 laps with the ARCA series. Tonight with the Super Laps, 250 laps. I got a funny feeling pit road is going to be a major factor here tonight.
Oh, for sure, Mike. This is going to be a very interesting and unique race. And while we've got the quick opportunity here before the drivers jump onto the grid, we're going to grab Tim Terry and throw him over into this booth here real quick to kind of give us a preview as to what we're going to see here for this Tranquility Online 250 and get his thoughts on what we've seen so far. So, Tim, why don't you go ahead and do that for us?
Well, it's going to be quick because I got to get ready and deliver these guys a little pre-race ceremony here. But we're getting ready to grid. Apologize for that third heat. We had some scoring issues, and after we threw the caution flag for the restart, we had to get through a couple of caution laps. It ended up being a long heat race, but 250 laps. I wanted to remind you guys why I stepped up here. This is a 12-tire race, 4 on the car, 8 in the pits. So just like last night, they're going to have to conserve. Thank you to Mark and Joel from Tranquility. Thank you to Doug Critch from DC Auto. Let's go racing. Tranquility Super Late Model 250.
Woo-woo! Good morning, Oxford. And look at that on the front row, the 56. These are the 5 we did not get to see, Kyle. The top 5 from qualifying. The 56, Stephen Matthews. And look at that, the young gun, 87, Danny Chisholm on the front row.
Third fastest in qualifying was the number 30 Bud Light machine of Keith McClellan, and the 141 of Richard Drake qualified in position number 4. That is where he will start.
And in row number 3, two-time Maritime Pro Stock champion, the 53 of Cole Butcher, and last night's big ARCA winner, and it's called the Magic Mike, the 75, Mike Alexander.
Winner of our second and third heat races, we've got Corey Hall starting in 7th and Dave Cassidy starting in.
And in row number 5 from Logie Bay, Newfoundland and Labrador, the Arsenault team, Hamlin Realty, number 3, Joey Arsenault. And on the outside of the 97, Riley Duncan.
Making up row number 6 is the 41 of Jason Goss in 11th, and Travis Rome 38 in 12th.
And we are getting close. Ethan Miller in the 80 car, Tanton Woolridge in the 00. And we'll just go quickly through them. Caden Tufts in the 88, Brandon Camel, the 99, Matthew Barkhouse, 115, Dawson McGinty, Nicholas Cotter, Craig McDonald, Craig Tully, Steve Lively. We are going green, Kyle.
22 cars fire, and the Tranquility Online 250 is underway. A great start for pole sitter Stephen Matthews. He will jump out to the early race lead. Look at Danny Chisholm already peeking to the inside. Might have been a bit of a mistake there as he bounced off the inside curb. He goes back in line and kind of relaxes for right now. First side-by-side battle is for position number 5. That is your one of the heat winners tonight. I believe it was heat race number 2. Corey Hall getting underneath of Richard Drake, the 4th fastest qualifier.
Dave Cassidy now on the outside of the 3 of Joey Arsenault. Lots of few 2-wide battles right now. We got a big battle right there at the 7th position of Joey Arsenault as they are stacked to the outside. We have 2 wide coming into the corner here, but I was expecting a little bit more bumping and grumping there on that start, but everybody was a very nice boy and girl and got through this.
You can see how important that inside line is, Mike. Everybody quickly trying to dive in and fall into line. Richard Drake had a bit of an issue doing that. He started in 4th and has dropped back to 7th. And look at Mike Alexander. He is the lone man stuck on the top side right now. He cannot find a hole to drop down. He's in 9th at the moment, trying to hang on to that spot. Dave Cassidy underneath of him, making the attempt to take it away. He's doing so, and that opens the door and keeps it open for Jason Goss. There really is not any significant holes for the 75 to fit into. Maybe this could be the early race benefit. He's laying some rubber down on that outside line. Maybe he's going to help make that line something later on in this event.
Well, what we've seen last night in the ARCA series, the outside line was not very beneficial at the early stages of the race and kind of cheddared up the tires. So right now, the 75 probably using up a little bit of that rubber. This is a 12-tire race. He finally tucks in behind the 41 of Jason Goss, but we have contact. The 75 is into the anthill.
Oh, my Lord. What a wild chain of events there. He is stuck on his driver's side in the infield and has gotten off the racetrack. a huge developing story here for the early portions of this race. You know he was going to be a factor in this thing. Mike Alexander spins, hits one of the sand berms that surround the light poles here at Oxford Plains Speedway, flips over, and has to tow to the pits. This is surely going to end his race.
Well, by towing, he goes down a lap. We're seeing right now, still on pit road, the 75. Very frustrating night for the 75. Got stuck on the outside, finally got in there, and then got a route to the nads and ended up in that infield. Had to hit the tow button as he was upside down. Probably a little frustrated, no caution, but, you know, unfortunately, single car. I guess the producers decided to let it go green. We're seeing a infield look at it. Whoa! That's almost X Games gold medal standard.
Just a wild situation there for Mike Alexander. Man, oh man, just given another opportunity to look at that again, and just a heartbreaker. Now he is going to rejoin the race. He's coming back out onto the racing surface, so he's going to try to make an attempt to finish this one off and at least benefit whatever he can out of this race. So he's trying to find a way to get back. Now he gets onto the racetrack and has a little bit of a hole. That car is beaten, banged up. He is 5 laps down, so we'll have to see if he's able to gain any of those laps back throughout the course of this event. Long race, but he's going to need a lot of caution flags if he's going to try to get back on the lead lap.
Alexander almost needs his brother Barkhouse to go start wrecking cars and give him 5 cautions so he can get the 5 lucky dogs right now.
It might take something like that. If we stay green flag, it won't be long for the race leader, Stephen Matthews, to catch the back of the field. Right now, the last car on the lead lap is the 5 of Craig Tully. He's 7 seconds back from race leader Stephen Matthews. We'll remind you that these guys are turning a low 15-second lap, so Craig Tully is already almost half a track behind Stephen Matthews. So if this thing stays green for any longer, these leaders are going to catch lap traffic in no time, and that's really going to put a damper on Mike Alexander getting the free pass.
A couple of really fast cars here, a few 15 flats there. Joey Arsenault of Logie Bay in the 3-car 1504, but look at that. Not sure what's in the setup at the Keith McClellan ride. The Daddy Mac car, the Budweiser car, with a 1499. He is the quickest car on the track.
Keith McClellan qualified 3rd place tonight. He was one of the fortunate 5 that got to watch all of the qualifying races go on and see what he could learn. Now he's getting an opportunity early on in this 250 lapper to feel what his car has got for race trim, and he's tightly packed up underneath the back bumper of Danny Chisholm. He's got Cole Butcher in the 53 right behind him. I think Cole actually may have just given him a shot in the bumper coming off of turn number 2 there, but Butcher does not make an attempt to get underneath of the 30 machine, so they all fall in line right now and continue to log laps around the Oxford Plains Speedway. We are on lap number 22, and as mentioned, with as quick as these laps are, these guys stay green. This 250 lapper is going to fly by in no time.
Yeah, still lots of laps, though. These guys got to play it correctly because once we get a few more cautions here, Mike Alexander will get those lucky dogs and possibly get back to the lead lap. It's not over for Mike Alexander. It's going to be a long shot for the 75. But you never know in the TCM events. We've seen quite a few cautions, especially as we get closer to the final half of the race.
Ooh, we're starting to get a little bumper happy here in positions 2 and 3. Keith McClellan lays the rear bumper to Danny Chisholm. Chisholm does not appreciate it. He turns down into the right front of the 30 car, gets him a little sideways, and is actually able to recover his position. I just saw out of the far shot of the camera there, I believe that was the number 99 car. It was. The 99 of Brandon Campbell has gone into trouble. He was sitting on the outside of turn number 2, so he has rejoined the race. We do stay green flag, but as we just mentioned, that eliminates Mike Alexander from contention of the free passes. Now that would go to Brandon Campbell, as he's only 1 lap down.
Keep an eye on that 30 and the 87. I got to give full props to the 87. I kind of like the bite that the 87 has. You know, he got a little shot to the nads, but came back and kind of side drafted the 30 and took back the position that he lost. So give it up for the 87 for holding on for that position too. But McClellan all over that back bumper, trying to give him a little shot to the nads.
All of that drama there has allowed Stephen Matthews to separate himself from Second place on back by about 8.5 tenths. We'll see what it is at the line. It's now over 9/10 of a second, so almost a full second back between your top two. Nice little line of cars there. There's about 6 cars in line from second through, I would believe, that is 7th place there. Corey Hall's been looking pretty good here, Mike. He was one of our heat race winners. He's already moved his way inside the top 5. He's kind of boxed in the middle of this pack. He's got Cole Butcher in front of him, Joey Arsenal behind him, so not really with too much pressure there. But so far, he's been looking pretty good. He's already been able to move up. Well, just 2 positions, but he's looking pretty good so far.
And it looks like the 87 of Danny Chisholm, kind of a little bit of a follow the leader. Everybody chasing down that exact same line. McClellan kind of looking to the inside. He does, and he throws it in there. And here comes the 53 of Cole Butcher. That's going to send the 87 to the high side, which not a good spot. Chisholm going to try to slam it in there, but if they don't get it in there, the 83 and the 3 and the rest of the field going to come out there. 87 in a little bit of trouble hanging on the outside. He is trying to squeeze in there, but look at that. Now the 53 is hanging out there. Man, oh man, Joey Arsenault now sticks his nose in the business.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now we're getting a little racy. Danny Chisholm able to fit in line in front of the 141 of Richard Drake, and now that leaves Cole Butcher, the man on the outside looking in. He's trying to fit that gap in front of Joey Arsenault. Arsenault wants to take it, but he does not do so. Cole Butcher will get a break there and fall in line in position number 4. So got a little racy. Here comes Danny Chisholm looking to the inside of Joey Arsenault. Maybe I made a little contact there, caught the inside curbing and got sideways, so he'll lose a car length or 2 and have to gather it back up and live to fight that battle another day. But getting a little racy here inside the top 5. I like it. 36 laps in.
Well, we were on board the 87, throwing it in there now. The 3 car of Joey Arsenault, your 2019 Eastbound Park Bandolero champion. He's been pretty patient over the last couple of years, so hopefully Chisholm does not stir the pot with the 3 car and maintain that relationship. But Chisholm, a little bit hot right now, wanting to get back up into the top. He's now in position number 6 after falling to the outside. I'm not sure, Kyle, what happened to the 53 of Cole Butcher. Should have been in P3, but kind of got hung out there as well. Might have been a little bit of contact there to push him to the outside.
Yeah, so a lot of those guys using up the fenders just a little bit early on, kind of seeing how much they'll bend and crease with some contact with their fellow competitors. But Cole's been able to recover nicely. He's in position number 4. He was one of our top 5 fastest qualifiers, so he's up 1 position since the start of this race. Lap number 39 goes in the books. It's been Stephen Matthews all the way through this. He's led all of them so far and is enjoying the view that he has of the beautiful Oxford Plains Speedway. Now he's starting to see some lap traffic in front of him. Should be able to get to them within the next 5 or 10 laps or so. The first victim would be the number 99 car, Brendan Campbell, who is already 1 lap down. So Brendan's at risk of losing a 2nd lap here within the first 50 laps of this event. But looking great right now, that 56 of Stephen Matthews leading the race, looking very smooth, trying to be intelligent with his tire wear, doesn't want to push and use up the equipment too much. Again, as we were reminded at the beginning of this race, these guys only have 2 sets in the pit, so you want to be careful with what you do with your tires tonight.
Well, looking at the times right now, a caution would bring these guys back together. It's almost like the whole track now is all spread out, single file, so not a lot of big challenges right now, but the 56 will come up on some lap traffic now, which will probably open the door for Keith McClellan to kind of reel in that gap. A lot of real estate between the 30 and the 56 right now, and McClellan kind of needs a little bit of a booster here. Without a caution, he needs a little help to get to that 56.
Yeah, Matthews has been looking very good, and with the battling that was going on inside the top 5, that only helped Matthews continue to pull away from the field behind him. How about Corey Hall? He's up to position number 3 right now. Again, having come through one of our heat races, up 4 positions at the moment, and looking to try to take another one away from Keith McClellan, as Stephen Matthews has entered that lap traffic. Brendan Campbell gives way, doesn't put up any fight. Hopefully he does the same here for the top 5 guys behind him, because they are in a much closer proximity to each other, trying to battle things out and close those gaps with some battles going on and fight it out for a position. This thing is going absolutely great so far, Mike. We're just about 12 minutes into this race, and we are almost 50 laps in.
1/5 completed here for the Tranquility 250 presented by DC Auto. But we're seeing that lap traffic now as the 56 puts down Das McGinty, and I believe that was Brandon Campbell now down 2 laps. So we are now coming up on lap number 50. Just a little bit about Corey Hall in the 3rd place. Last night finished P2. Did not get the green white checkered because of the error in the server. So I think the 83, this is kind of one of his races, one of the long ones. He's a bit of a strategy, in Las Vegas and several of the races that we've seen over the last 2 months. Corey Hall's been a bit of a master chess player when it comes to pit road.
Really fun to see what kind of strategies that these guys have to take with that. You can see the lap traffic moving to the outside, letting these guys file on by. So far, lap traffic playing very nicely with our leaders, not really getting involved and hindering their races at all. McClellan and Hall are by. Now as they go into turn number 1, Cole Butcher is going to clear Joey Arsenal, next driver to work his way through lap traffic. So starting to see a lot more space within our top 10 here. They were bunched up like a choo-choo train for quite a while there. Now we're starting to see them separate and get some daylight in between the bumpers.
Well, big night for the 3 car. Like I said, Bandolero champion, now Legends driver. That 3 car from Logan Bay, Newfoundland and Labrador, now moving up. He's in that 5th spot, so great position for him with a little bit of a distance between himself and the 87 of Danny Chisholm. But if this continues, Kyle, we're probably going to see some green flag pit stops. Who are we going to see go down pit road first, I wonder?
I was starting to think that myself. I don't necessarily know how much fuel these guys have, but tire wear is going to become a factor if we stay green flag for a long time. And for some of those guys towards the back of the field, this pit road is very unique. You have 2 different pit lanes. You have the one that you guys can probably see on the camera shots that is just to the inside of that little paved infield area. But then there's another pit road right behind that one, and that one's a little bit curvier. It's almost like a little road course pit road. So those guys that started towards the back of the field, they'll have to enter through that one. They have to be aware that they are in that pit road. We do have 22 cars here this evening, so some of those guys are pitted in that area. We're seeing some of them pull off during the warm-up session, so that'll be a fun thing they'll have to deal with throughout this race as well.
Can you imagine going down the wrong pit road? Now, we've seen sometimes, guys in the past not taking enough fuel. We've seen guys trying to take 4 tires and then going down 2 laps because this is not a big track here at Oxford. The Oxford Plains, I got a funny feeling if we're going to go green flag stops, they're going to be taking 2 tires.
Whoa, got a little contact going on with 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I was just going to mention that Cole Butcher, we might be seeing the benefit of this green flag run, Mike. Cole Butcher went to the top side to try to get around Corey Hall and is actually making it work. He's making progress on the 83 of Corey Hall. Corey got into the back of Keith McClellan there 1 lap ago, and that kind of shuffled that group up just a little bit. But now Cole Butcher has made the move around the 83, and look at him use the top to get around Keith McClellan. Cole Butcher, 2 passes on the top side. He goes to 2nd. Corey Hall sees it. He's connected to Keith McClellan. The 2 released from each other. That's going to cost them a bunch of time. And here comes Joey Arsenal dooring the 83 of Corey Hall.
You know what? I think it was, I believe, I'm just trying to think which track it was. It was about a month ago. Mike Alexander was the only car to make that outside work. And we've seen it just in, exactly what we've seen at that racetrack. I'll let you know in a second when it comes to me. But you see Cole Butcher kind of pinch him down there, and that's the strategy that Mike Alexander had that night. And the only way you could get that outside was almost like pinch the bottom down so you can get a little bit of the grip on the left side of the car.
We got
oh, no, here we go. We got contact with the 3 and the 83 of Corey Hall.
Corey Hall, the big loser in that exchange. He made contact with the outside wall in turn number 2. Not only is he going to lose that top 5 position, he is barely hanging on to the lead lap as he has race leader Stephen Matthews right behind him. That could have been a bit of a retaliatory move there on Joey Arsenal, because Arsenal used up that left side door panel on the 83 when he tried to get on by, and maybe Corey tried to return the favor, and it did not work out very well for him. That drops him all the way back to 18th. He's the last car on the lead lap with race leader Stephen Matthews right behind him.
Oh my God, what a twist of events. We are still green flag. 67 completed of the 250 here by the Tranquility sponsor here tonight, presented by DC Auto. Who would have thought here at Oxford we would be this long?
We've been green flag all the way through this thing, but we've had no issues finding a lot of action and drama. Of course, it started off early on with Mike Alexander getting caught up in a wild flip that did not bring out a caution flag. Now we just had one of our front runners, Corey Hall, kind of get into it with Joey Arsenal, and he is fighting for his life to stay on the lead lap. We know that 83 car has a good car. You never know when the caution flag is going to come out, so he has a right to race leader Stephen Matthews right now, and this has kind of been the first challenge that Stephen has had all race long. He started on the pole for this Tranquility Online 250, ran away from the field ever since, and hasn't really had to deal with anything. Now he's having a battle with Corey Hall. He wants to put him a lap down, get him out of his windshield, and put him behind him, but Corey Hall doesn't want to lose the lap.
I can tell you right now, Corey Hall is going out of his mind in that 83. Going to go down a lap, and if he's going to go down a lap, it's going to be a battle, and someone's going to be into the wall.
While the two of them are kind of fighting for this, they are starting to reel in some of the cars in front of him. So this will give Corey Hall that opportunity to race for position. And if he closes in on some cars racing for position, that's only going to give him even more of a right to race Stephen Matthews harder. So Matthews is trying to bide his time. He has a big lead. It is 1.8 seconds at the line here. We will see what it updates to. It goes to 1.892, so it increases by about half a tenth there. So Stephen Matthews, even though he's got a front bumper full of Corey Hall's lapped machine, he's still pulling away from Cole Butcher in second place. So I guess if you're Stephen Matthews, you can afford to be patient right here.
Yeah, but I think Stephen Matthews right now in the spotter probably are saying, you know what would you almost want to put the 83 down a lap, because that's a car that could be dangerous as we get into this race. Taking the 83 down a lap is a bit of a beneficial for the 56 maybe in the long term.
Oh, I very much agree. We've seen how good Corey has been thus far, and as these guys continue to close in on some of those lap cars in front of them, if Steven can get around Corey and then quickly get around the 30 machine of Stephen Lively, that eliminates Corey Hall from being the free pass driver. So I like that. I like that move a lot. You want to kind of get around that 83 car, put a good, strong contender lap down, and hope that you can close the gap to Stephen Lively, the 00 there, Tanton Woolridge, and the 80 car of Ethan Miller. Get up to those guys and see if you can put one of them a lap down. And oh, a little bit of a bumper there. Look at that. Stephen Matthews boots Corey Hall off the racetrack. He not only gets around him, but he totally moves Corey Hall. Corey loses a lot of time there.
I'm telling you, that 56 was saliva in there. Look at his chops wanting to get in and throw that reel on that tuna. And I was thinking that was going to be brewing there, but the 56 lost the patience on the 83. He is the quicker car, and but all props to Corey Hall fighting to stay on that lead lap. He is in that transfer spot 4 to come back into Lucky Dog. Corey Hall is going to want to stay in that spot.
So let's see here. We've got 80 laps in the books, working lap number 81 right now. We've been green flag all the way through. Of our 22 starters, we have 17 of them on the lead lap at the moment. Only one car has called it a night. That is the 119 machine of Dawson McGinty. He has climbed out of his number 119 car, so he will be the 22nd place finisher in tonight's Tranquility Online 250. But other than that, everybody else is still logging laps and still out here fighting through. I've been extremely impressed with the start of this race, and I believe, if I remember from communication with Tim earlier on today, these guys saw a long green flag run like this to open up last night's race. Correct, Mike?
I don't know. There was a case of beer and a pizza delivered to my house, so I hardly remember last night. So big props to Doug Critch and DC Auto. You know, we were talking about pizza and beer earlier in the season, and Doug Critch and DC Auto delivered with a special delivery to my family. No beer for the kids, but they did get some pizza.
How can you go wrong with beer and pizza on a Thursday night?
Well, you know, it we were into this pandemic, and I kept saying to Dylan, Boston Pizza was now delivering beer with their pizza, and Tim should hook us up. And anyways, it went 2 months later, and then finally Doug Critch and the DC Auto team from Torbay and Fort McMurray hooked me up. So big thank you to them, and being a part of the short track season here in Atlantic Canada. Doug Critch and the DC Auto team, also a part of the Chris Reed and Kyle Reed team. They are part of the Parts of Trucks Maritime Pro Stock League. We're going to see them this Tuesday. Also doing some traveling down to Richmond and all over. So you got to love the guys that are, so deep into short track racing. So a big thank you for coming on board this weekend for the Oxford 500, as well as Mark D'Entremont and their team from Tranquility for supporting these iRacing series for the TCM Special Events. A big thank you from all of us at TCM.
Been really fun to see all the different events that we've been able to cover here on Vidane TV, the Tim's Corner Motorsports guys, and this arguably could be the best one that we have seen thus far. Stephen Matthews, your race leader, is coming around to complete lap number 90. All 90 of them have been green flagged. This is amazing, but things are starting to change throughout the course of this race, though, Mike. We have got Cole Butcher in the 53 car starting to reel in your race leader, Stephen Matthews, and he's not alone. That beautiful bright blue number 30 Bud Light machine of Keith McClellan is also starting to reel in race leader Stephen Matthews. So Matthews might potentially be struggling with some of this lap traffic. Maybe his tires are worn out a little bit more than what the 53 and the 30 are, but those two drivers are starting to reel in your race leader.
Well, that 56, a familiar colored car here in Newfoundland for Eastbound Park. Josh Collins, 56 colors to Universal Environment and Edward Collins Contracting, also a pro stock team, but piloted right now by Stephen Matthews, who's doing a fabulous job fighting through this minefield of lap traffic. He has now put down Ethan Miller, Tanton Woolridge, Stephen Lively, and Corey Hall. But Corey Hall was the big tuna here tonight. I know that was a beautiful fight, but I'm sure Corey Hall did not like the route to the Nads. But hopefully now we'll see some of these drivers compete. But still green flag on lap 94 of 250 for the Oxford 500 weekend. Man, oh man, I got a funny feeling Tip Terry's in the production booth with a little bit of a smile, because usually he's with a few drivers trying to sort the messes out. But tonight it's been easy sailing for the 56, and it's not, I can't really say easy, Kyle, because what a fabulous job he's done coming through the minefield of lap traffic.
Yeah, he's definitely earned everything that he's gotten tonight. He was our fastest qualifier, started this Tranquility Online 250 on the pole, and has led every single lap up to this point. Now this is where we're going to start to see some interesting stuff here. Joey Arsenault's coming on to pit road. Joey Arsenault was one of our top contenders here, running throughout the top 10 throughout most of this. So maybe Joey's going to be the guy that starts this green flag pit stop sequence potentially as we close in on lap number 100. But Cole Butcher has cleared lap traffic and is looking at Stephen Matthews directly in the face. So there's no lap traffic in between the two of these guys. We will get a really good opportunity to see if that 53 car is truly better than the 56 right now, or if maybe Stephen Matthews just didn't get through the lap traffic as well as Cole did, and now maybe he can extend that lead. So we'll keep an eye on things throughout the field, as well as we saw Joey Arsenault make a pit stop. He lost a couple laps while doing so. So at least to my knowledge, I don't believe we've seen anybody else make a pit stop, so I don't know if that was unscheduled or not. Maybe Joey just abused his stuff a little bit worse than everybody else. But now you got to start to think about that. We've completed 100 laps. How long is this going to stay green? What kind of strategies are we going to start to see here with tires and fuel?
Well, this is what I was talking about here at Oxford. You got to be careful. Joey Arsenault was down 4 laps, so not sure what strategy. 52-second pit stop, so that's going to really put Joey Arsenault down. I hope he gets back into the field here. Not quite sure what's happening on pit road if Joey's re-entered. He does re-enter, but it's going to cost him 4 laps, so might have done some repairs, and unfortunately the crew chief of the 3 needs to get fired. Because now he's down 4 laps, so I guess Joey Arsenault, Freddie Arsenault, will be sleeping outside tonight. That's the crew chief for the 3 car, good friend of mine, and big props to him, having a great run here tonight. But that pit stop really cost him with a 57-second stop. Our first car to hit pit road, Joey Arsenault.
Yeah, Joey's going to need this thing to continue to stay green for a while, losing 4 laps like that. He's all the way back to 20th place. The only guy that he's beating on the racetrack is Mike Alexander, and then, of course, Dawson McGinty, who is out of this race. So he's going to need for everybody to make green flag pit stops and sacrifice a lot of laps like he did in order to kind of get back to where he was running. Of course, he was the other party involved in that issue that Corey Hall had. So like you said, maybe he took a few extra seconds to beat out some of those fenders from that contact and try to get some damage repaired on that number 3 Exalta machine. But yeah, I agree. He's definitely going to need a lot more green flag racing and some other green flag pit stops from the leaders in order to get back into a competitive position.
And that's a challenge, especially if you're not used to the green flag pit stop. I've heard from competitors before, thinking that they'll take 4 and not cost them as much. And then, when you're repairing the virtual metal, sometimes it takes a little bit longer than you expected. So unfortunately for Joey, that was a 4-lap thing. Hopefully he can get some action here with some yellow flags. But big props to the Bandolero champion from Newfoundland and Labrador. Unfortunately, I guess he keeps threatening his son, the 3, Joey, that he will be sleeping outside. So I guess the crew chief, Freddie, you're outside tonight, buddy.
Well, seeing that we've got the opportunity to, we are working lap number 110. Why don't we give you a quick rundown of where what we're looking at throughout the race field. As we mentioned, it's Stephen Matthews leading this thing. He's led all 110 laps in this Tranquility Online 250. Cole Butcher in the 53 car. He is currently in position number 2. The 30 of Keith McClellan is running in 3rd. Dave Cassidy is 4th in his 13 car. And Matthew Barkhouse is currently rounding out your top 5 in car number 15. The 98 of Craig McDonald, we saw him come all the way through I guess the soup, if you want to call it, came through an LCQ. He is up to position number 6. Absolutely has to be the hard charger right now. Started in position number 20, so he is up 14 positions. Matthew Barkhouse in front of him has gained 12 as he started in 17th. Danny Chisholm in the 87, we've seen him fade a little bit throughout this first half of the race. He is in position number 7. Riley Duncan in the 97 runs in 8th. Caden Tufts' 88 machine is 9th. And the 54 of Nick Condor rounds out the top 10.
We just had a good look at this 75 of Mike Alexander. Down 5 laps, but he is still fighting. As he got around Joey Arsenault, then, has not given up on this race at all. We are almost coming up on halfways here. Cross flags at lap 125 for the Tranquility App 250, presented by DC Auto here for the TCM. But Stephen Matthews out front on a Friday night. This is almost like a moonshine run for the 56.
Incredible stuff that we're seeing out of Stephen Matthews. He's been able to maintain a healthy gap back to Cole Butcher. I've seen that gap vary a little bit. It's gone from about 9/10 of a second to 8/10. Now it's back up over a second. So neither one of these two guys seem to be better than the other. Well, obviously Stephen Matthews is better than Cole Butcher at the moment, but now that we've gotten into this long green flag run, these two cars seem to kind of even out just a little bit. The gaps aren't really changing by dramatic distances. It's starting to continue to go up lap after lap here, but just the slightest of margins is Stephen Matthews pulling away from Cole Butcher. I just continue to be impressed as to how this has gone. We have not seen a green flag run like this, I don't think, at all in Verdane TV history. I know we're green flagging. We haven't had to go to you, Paul. Are you there right now? You still hanging out? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, this is absolutely one of the longest green flag runs we've had. We're working on lap 120. I mean, granted, it's Oxford Plains. It's short, it's quick little 15-second laps. But, man, these guys are putting on a hell of a show here for the Tim's Corner Motorsports Tranquility Super Late Models. And great to have DC Auto on board for the entire week as we're here at Oxford Plains. And, man, just Stephen Matthews in that 56 just laying it down, putting on a clinic here. And we're going to take a look at the stats real quick. You can see we're on lap 121, 122 as they cross the line. Every single one of those laps led by Stephen Matthews. Started first, currently first, and he's got the fastest lap so far of the race with a 15:07.3. So green flag pit stops may very well be a thing here, as we're just about, Mike made mention, 125 here is going to be halfway. that's going to guarantee if you pit at halfway, if you can make it one half, you can make it the other half. So may very well see some of these cats come on down pit road, maybe grab a couple two-tire stops, some fuel, make their way onto the end of the race here, and we can actually see Mike Alexander was able to hold on. He was able to go a little bit quicker as he got probably 10-lap fresher tires than everybody else as he got involved in that earlier on wreck. So he's still running pretty much equal lap times with everybody else. So great racing so far tonight. Lots of action all the way around the track. Everybody's minding their P's and Q's, and everybody's staying out of trouble for the most part as we just cross into halfway.
And Paul, we're seeing Ethan Miller on pit road for an extended stay, so he's taking 4 tires. This could be an advantage for Joey because if everybody takes 4, it's going to cost them a couple of laps. So the 80 trying to get down pit road, but it has some difficulty. That is the 80 of... That is Ethan Miller, who won the Legends Championship here at Oxford Plains, but he's decided to come back out. Did he miss pit road?
It looks like we just caught him as he was coming out of pit road. And one thing to keep in mind, here with these super late model teams, the pit stops aren't as quick as you would usually see as a NASCAR Cup Series team. So you're definitely going to see some longer pit stops. And here with these guys clicking off 15-second flat laps, you're absolutely going to see guys go down 1, 2, 3, even 4 laps, depending on how many tires. So I definitely bet you're going to see some pit strategy here. Even the fueling of the car is a little bit slower with these super late models. So you may see some guys come down for 2 laps just to basically kind of extend. They don't want to go down multiple laps. They just want to lose a little bit of track position, get some splash and go, get a couple of tires, and get a couple of tenths on these guys. You see, it looks like 56, the leader, down on the apron, and we're going to see he's pulling down pit road right now. So it's go time. Absolutely. Drops all the way down to P3.
Kyle, we'll have a look on pit road here. Caden Tufts, Corey Hall, Danny Chisholm also on pit road as well. But Kyle,
56 overshoots. He had to back up.
What?
Right side getting jacked up. We're going to see if it's a 2 or a 4 tire stop right here. You can see long pit stops. Takes forever with these super late models. And you see it is going to be a 4 tire stop as they jack up the left-hand side. And we'll pull up, see if we can pull up the pit stop ticker here, and you can see at the bottom of your screen 56 Matthews down the bottom, a 25.5 second pit stop for 4 tires and fuel. So definitely not a cup style pit stop. He's 2 laps down as he rejoins the field here right behind the 13 car, but I absolutely think that's going to be the trickle effect. It's going to get all these guys, these lead lap cars, down on pit road because they're going to be losing a lot of time to the already fast 56 car of Stephen Matthews.
Kyle.
This is going to be the absolute worst time for the first caution flag to fly. If you're Stephen Matthews, Danny Chisholm, Corey Hall, Dave Cassidy, I see is coming down pit road right now. This is truly incredible stuff. How often do you get to see a race go green flag for so long at a racetrack that takes you so long to get a pit stop completed that this is just creating a lot of just wild stuff. I was paying attention to Danny Chisholm on his pit stop. He was one of our front runners. He lost 3 laps on his pit stop. Craig McDonald is now 3 laps down. Let's see here. Caden Tufts is 2 laps down. So he was able to have a pretty nice stop. Stephen Matthews is coming in as the leader, and he may have gotten some laps back since we have some of the other leaders that are coming in. He's only 1 lap down right now. He cracks back into the top 10 and is actually in the free pass position right now. So things are changing rapidly. We got cars diving in and out of pit road. Cole Butcher's on there right now. I believe Matthew Barkhouse has just come down on a pit road. He is. The 30 machine of Stephen Lively, he's on pit road. He's one of those guys that has to use the backstretch pit road. So he was able to find his stall pretty easily. There's another car back there, the 54 of Nick Codner. He's on the backstretch, or I don't know. Well, I guess I can't really call that the backstretch pit road. It's the back pit road. Why? This is just cool. This is now putting on the 97 Riley Duncan in the race lead.
Yeah, it's just wild, but Riley Duncan has not reported. So from 7th
we're gonna get it. There it is. There's the first caution. Riley Duncan got turned by one of the lap cars. I think it was the 41 of Jason Ghost, or no, it was the 99 of Brandon Campbell. So there it is, 139 completed laps, and the caution flag flies. Lapped machine Brandon Campbell 5 laps down, he gets into race leader Riley Duncan, spins him sideways in the middle of the racetrack. Cars scatter all over the place. He kind of gathers it back up, hits one of the sand dunes. Oh my goodness, this is an absolute disaster for some of these guys that just made pit stops. They are trapped multiple laps down.
Talk about a monkey wrench in your afternoon or your evening or your morning, depending on what it is. You can see there was a little bit of mishap coming off of pit road there for the 15, but I was just about to let you guys know in the ear, as the production guy that I am, only 5 cars on the lead lap currently, and we just saw the replay of what happened there. We're going to jump real quick down to see if we can take a look on pit road. There's those four cars that are still in the lead lap. They're going to come down pit road, but as we're showing right now, it's going to take a few laps here for these guys to cross over the line to update the timing and scoring. Looking at Jason Goss, who has not come down pit road just yet. There you see him just now. He just came into his pit stall, and that's gray and blue machine. He's going to come down pit road, but we're showing right now 8 cars on the lead lap, and that's going to be Jason Goss, Stephen Matthews, Riley Duncan, who we just saw got turned around, the 00 of Tanton Wooldridge, Travis Roma, Keith McClellan, that 30 Bud Light machine, Rational Richard Drake, and a 141 is going to be the first car 1 lap down, so he will more than likely get that wave by. But we're going to come across the start finish line here, looking like Stephen Matthews may very well be the leader. Just waiting for everything to kind of update here on the timing and scoring. It's a little bit scattered right now because there was a lot of different guys on a lot of different laps, and you see Stephen Matthews actually comes down pit road again here. So you got to wonder if he's going to top off on fuel, maybe change some tires here. Just showing right now the timing and scoring is a little bit on the...
I don't understand that strategy. Why is the 56 coming back down again?
Well, you know what? If there's 5 or 6 cars on a lead lap and he's one of them, why not?
I guess so.
Well, you also have to think here, Paul, is that he's only got 2 sets of tires in the pit. Obviously, he's already used one, but if he uses the other one here, that's it for the remaining 106 laps here. So we're starting to see all these wave-around cars come by. We're going to get a better idea as to who's on the lead lap, who's in what positions. We have extended the caution flag so that way we can get everybody all jumbled back up and ready to restart this race. But this is going to be really, really interesting to see how this all lines up.
Absolutely. A lot of these guys that made pit stops under green, it looks like with this wave by, we may have 14 to 15 cars on the lead lap. It's going to be tough to tell. As you can see, we're basically just setting the camera on pit road right now, and you can see these cars kind of ripping on by the field here, ripping on by the pace car to get that lap back and get back onto the lead lap. And there you see the pace truck kind of gathering everybody up right now. But we'll cross the line here just momentarily. It looks like Keith McClellan in that 3030 car is going to be the leader, but we'll double check that here momentarily.
So for the fans at home, Paul, just explain for all those cars now that just got the wave around.
So essentially what happens is basically if we just went through a big cycle of green flag pit stops. So they came down, a couple of guys got 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel, whatever the pit stop may have been. Anybody that didn't pit under green had the opportunity. Well, first off, let me backtrack. Anybody that made a pit stop under green lost at the very least 1 lap, possibly 2 laps. If you took 4 tires, may have been 3 or 4, as these guys are clicking off 15-second lap times here. And we saw earlier on there with Stephen Matthews, it's about a 30-second pit stop for 4 tires and fuel. So anybody that pitted under caution, essentially they get to pick. They get to come down, fuel up, get tires, all that stuff, and restart at the front of the field. Essentially, anybody that came down under green to make a pit stop, they then have the opportunity to drive around the pace car and get their lap back. They will still have to start behind everybody that just pitted under yellow. So pretty confusing, as Kyle made mention. As soon as that caution flag came out, really tough time for a caution flag to fly, because it adds a lot of confusion, adds a lot of frustration to the drivers. But you know what, we're just going to be crossing the line here for number 150, lap number 150. 100 laps to go here at Oxford Plains, so these guys definitely have plenty of time to sort it all out. They definitely have enough fuel at this point, enough tires to to go the rest of the distance, as they've already made it past halfway, and a lot of these cats just pitted for the very first time. So looks like the timing and scoring is finally updated. Keith McClellan, that number 30 Bud Light car, he is going to be your leader, and behind him, well, you know what? Maybe the scoring didn't update, because we're showing Rational Richard Drake in the 141 P2, but it appears the other 30 car, the G-Spot machine, is right behind him. So maybe getting a quick wave around here. We'll have to give it a few more laps here under caution, as we see the lights are off on the pace truck. So it looks like a single file restart. Maybe that 30 car is just kind of trapped a lap down there.
No, Keith McClellan is our race leader. The interesting thing here, I think we're going to actually go green, is that all of the cars behind him are off the lead lap. So the second place machine is Richard Drake. Let me see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. We just went green. There's got to be like 7 or 8 lap cars in between Keith McClellan and Richard Drake. So this has created a very unique circumstance. We are back to green flag racing, but we'll give you the rundown here of those cars that are on the lead lap. We only have 8 of them. Keith McClellan is your race leader. Richard Drake in the 141. Second, Caden Tufts is third. Dave Cassidy fourth. Cole Butcher is fifth. Riley Duncan sixth. Stephen Matthews seventh. And Jason Goss, the final car on the lead lap, is in position 8. Everybody else is a lap down and kind of mixed in amongst these leaders. But we have Keith McClellan at the front of the field, and we are green flag racing once again.
I can tell you, Kyle, I did 6 years engineering, and I can tell you this is almost like a thermodynamic 4-page equation, because I'm even confused after all these years of calling races. But we have a leader, Keith McClellan, one of the fastest cars of the night with a 14.99, quickest lap of the night. The 30, Daddy Mac into Bud Light, the Bud Light machine. Keith McClellan in full control of this race right now.
Yeah, that caution flag in the middle of green flag pit stops definitely created a bit of a unique circumstance. So we got some lead lap cars racing amongst lap cars, and lap cars racing amongst lead lap cars. This is a very unique race, very unique circumstance here. Let's see, I believe we've got, yes, so right behind race leader Keith McClellan, you got Stephen Lively in the 30, and then behind Stephen Lively, there is a 3-car battle for position. It's Craig McDonald in position number 9, Danny Chisholm is 10th, and Matthew Barkhouse is in position number 11. So you skip over the 30 car, and then you have a 3-car battle going on for position number 9, and then if you go 4 cars behind that, that is where second place Richard Drake is. He is driving behind the 54 of Nick Codner. So I guess Richard Drake's in a bit of a cruddy situation. He's got about 7 or 8 lap cars in between himself and race leader Keith McClellan. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to race for the lead.
Yes, no doubt. And, plenty of time, 90 laps on the score sheet here, left to go here. Rational Richard Drake, the 141, has got a 2-wide battle with the Logie Bay and Torbay natives. That is 2 of the young guns from Eastbound Park. Joey Arsenault and Nicholas Codner continuing their battles from the Bandolero series. The 2 are probably one of the most wildest and amazing drivers I've ever witnessed in my life, and you're seeing it right here in the iRacing series. 54 and 3, 2 standout young lads from Eastbound.
Richard Drake going to make the inside pass on Joey Arsenault here. Now, the 3 and the 54 are not racing for position. The 54 of Nick Codner is 1 lap down in position number 12. The 3 of Joey Arsenault is 17th, 2 laps behind. So this little situation that we are in has changed a lot of things. It's obviously better for the 3 to be 2 laps down than it was 4 when he initially... Oh, we got trouble! Danny Chisholm has turned the 30 of Stephen Lively head on into the outside wall, and that is going to bring out the caution flag for the second time tonight. That was a big impact with the front end of the number 30 car. Danny Chisholm was trying to get around him so he could race Craig McDonald for position and did not do it the right way. The 30 car overcorrects hard into the outside wall, was sitting in a very precarious position, tried moving actually with the field rolling by, and race officials had no option but to throw the caution there. So that'll be caution number 2, and it looks like Danny Chisholm's going to be hurt by that one because Craig McDonald's going to get the free pass here.
Yeah, black flag here, Paul?
Man, I don't know. Shows you the replay as a what?
Have
down.
another wobbly pop.
Yeah, we'll have another wobbly pop. We'll crack open some more Diablo wine here. But man, oh man, the business is about to pick up here. This may give the opportunity for some of these guys stuck a lap down. And Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong here. We might be getting a lot more guys back on the lead lap if they get the wave around. Or is that only if the leaders pit?
That is only if all of the lead lap cars, all of the cars in front of the lapped cars come in. So if Danny Chisholm, Matthew Barkhouse, Craig Tully, whoever it is that is behind those guys, if they want to get a lap back, they need the 30 car of Keith McClellan to go down pit road. If he does not, they stay a lap down, and they should get end-of-line penalties and line up behind all of the lead lap cars. So this caution flag, this should allow Caden Tufts, what in the world happened? Richard Drake is back to position number 9. Did he make a pit stop under this yellow? What's up with that?
Let's see if we can pull it up on the instant replay here.
It's a thermodynamic equation.
He did. He came down. He got right side tires in the 141. So he's going to be restarting in the back of the pack, but he's going to have 2 fresh right side tires. Check that. Might be left side tires. We'll actually... we're just showing the replay right now on your screen here. It comes down pit road under caution and jacks up the left side of the car, gets 2 left side tires. So a little bit of tire management working in. Probably banged on a little bit of the fenders just to make sure the damage is all good. And you figure there's only 9 cars on the lead lap, so why not come down pit road? If you're going to be dealing with all that lap traffic, you may as well have the advantage of at least 2 fresh tires, wouldn't you think?
It'll definitely be a fun strategy move to follow here. So we are coming to the one to go this time. You can now see that we're getting the field lined up, and it's going to well, actually, we're going green. I'm on replay. Okay, I'm dumb. So here we go. We're back to green flag racing now. The front of the field is looking a lot normal than as to what you would expect it. We have Keith McClellan leading, Caden Tufts the second. Side-by-side battle for position number 3 with Cole Butcher and Dave Cassidy. We saw Butcher use that outside line earlier in the race. He's trying to do so here to take over position 3.
And then we're looking at the 56 of Stephen Matthews, who led pretty much half the field here, or half the race here. So he's going to come up and tuck in between the 53 of Cole Butcher. But Caden Tufts all on the outside may use the same strategy as the 53, but he's really got to get down there and pinch the 13 of David Cassidy and use a little bit of that grip on the bottom. And we're seeing it right here now as he tries to get down there. But Cole Butcher almost a little side drafting him out to the outside here.
Cole Butcher trying to fight for position number 3 in a different way. Oh, he's leaning on the 88 of Caden Tufts here a little bit. A little beating and banging. No harm, no foul there. Caden Tufts didn't seem to appreciate it, but Cole Butcher will move over into position number 3. Tufts is able to get down behind him. Tufts starting to have a bit of a tough internet issue there in that 88 car, but we'll have to follow that as these next few laps kind of go into the books. Keep your eye on that 56 of Stephen Matthews. This is the first time online he's had to actually deal with traffic and try to work his way back up to the race lead, so this should be fun to see how good he is. Dave Cassidy just got a big piece of the inside apron there. Made a bit of a mistake, but he keeps it clean and green.
And just to check in on 2 of the DC Auto cars, that is Jason Goss and Nicholas Codner in the top 10. Jason Goss now in position number 6 on the backside of that quick 56 of Stephen Matthews. So great run here from the Torbay natives, representing big sponsor here tonight, DC Auto.
Had a bit of a stack up there in the middle of the field. I wasn't exactly sure, I didn't catch it, but it had something to do with Joey Arsenault there. I think he actually made contact with Matthew Barkhouse. Barkhouse, it looks like he got a little wiggle. Arsenault got into him and kind of stacked a few cars up. Everybody was able to hang on, and we do stay green flag racing, but he's got a little hairy there for Matthew Barkhouse and Joey Arsenault. So everybody's on a little bit higher edge here, Mike. A lot of guys are in very different positions than what they were during that green flag run, and they're trying to recover the best they can. They know that they're running out of time. We've got 74 laps to go here or so. So very little time to kind of correct the weird situation that caution flag put everybody in. And now that we're getting towards the end of the race, jumpers are going to start to flare up, and everyone's definitely going to get a little more aggressive.
Kyle, as a racer, you know, we got to watch you during the IWK special event weekend on the dirt. You know, a situation like this, long green flag with a crazy mix up there with the green flag cautions, and then the cautions Does this play a factor with the drivers here?
Oh, without a doubt. We've seen this race turn in a very different direction. We saw over half of it go green flag, and everybody was starting to try to make those green flag pit stop strategies, and then we had a caution go right in the middle of it, and it's shaking things up. Our most dominant car of the race is having to work his way back through the field. We have another strong car in the lead right now, but we also have some very good contenders who are off the lead lap, who are trying to fight to get back on it and get themselves in position for the free pass should we see another caution. So this changes everything. It changes the entire complexion of this race for everybody. Some guys are having to run completely different. Some guys are still in very good positions. Other guys are in very bad positions because of this. So the position that I'm extremely interested in is the position that 53 car's in. I am fascinated watching him work the outside line around these guys. He's struggling to get around Dave Cassidy right now using that line, but he's not giving up. He really wants to use that top side.
Well, two-time Parts for Trucks Maritime Pro Stock champion Cole Butcher in the 53. New to iRacing this year, but has come along a long way over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So we're seeing a little taste of what the 53 has in his war chest. So we've seen earlier using that outside line and kind of pitching his competitor down and getting a little grip on the left side tires. So we're seeing some lap traffic here as McClellan comes around. Some lap traffic here. We see one of the cars push out all the way to the dirt, but this could be a factor for the 30 car as we see Dave Cassidy and the 53 and the 56 battle for the top 4 here.
Stephen Lively is able to get out of the way and let the top 4 fight amongst themselves. Now that 56 of Stephen Matthews is starting to reel in on Cole Butcher and make this a true 4-car battle for the race lead. A couple lap cars in between there, and then you got Richard Drake. Just one lap car. Jason Goss in the 41 car is on the lead lap, so you only have the 30 there of Stephen Lively that's kind of in amongst these leaders here. So once the 30 kind of cycles his way back through, we'll see how many of these leaders can continue to fight. But right now, we got a great battle with the 4 of them. Oh, Cole Butcher gets a little checked up. Stephen Matthews gets into the back of him. Matthews jumps the curb. Going to lose a lot of time, but he hangs on to the race car. Stephen Lively will shove out to the outside, and that's going to allow Jason Goss and Richard Drake to follow through, and will now have a clear shot at Stephen Matthews.
Well, it was a good thing that they had a bit of a gap between the rest of the field, because that could have been really bad for Cole Butcher. But Dave Cassidy, we didn't get to see a lot of him in the first half of this race. The 13's been a strong contender over the last 2 months, but Cassidy in striking distance right now. Keith McClellan and the Bud Light car 30. So pretty impressive run, but we are under caution on lap number 192. Did not grab it there. Oh, look at that. A little endo for the pace truck.
Pace truck needs to set those wobbly pops down. What in the world was that? Kyle, why are we under caution?
I don't know. Breathalyzer on the pace truck driver.
So it looks like to me, I was kind of listening in on the voice chat here a little bit. Caden Tufts, he's been beating around a little bit, and he found some trouble on his own. He clipped the inside curve going into turn number 1, shot up the racetrack, made contact with the door of Stephen Lively. That spins the 88 around, shoots the 30 off the racetrack, and then the 83 machine of Corey Hall, nowhere for him to go. He kind of shoves the 88 off the racetrack. He has a meeting with the kitty litter outside of turn 2 as well. So the 88 and the 30 pile up in the outside turn 2 wall. Corey Hall is able to drive away from it. But unfortunate circumstance there for Caden Tufts. He took the restart a couple of restarts ago in position number 2, and now he'll have to fall to the end of the line for those on the lead lap. I believe, yes, Nick Codner in car number 54. He gets the free pass during this caution flag, so he will get to go back on the lead lap. We had something happen under yellow here. Ethan Miller turned Craig Tully.
Yeah, taking a look right now at the replay, it looks like the 88 of Caden Tufts just kind of comes up and smacks the 30 car there, right in the spot there, and Corey Hall is right there behind him. Got a good view of it. Comes up off the apron, and who was that under caution? We'll take a look at that as well.
Well, I was just ending up the replay there, and it may have been a bit of a mistake, but Craig Tully got blasted in the rear end by the number 80 machine of Ethan Miller. I don't know I think Ethan was trying to catch back up to the field and may have just made a mistake and got into the back of Craig Tully, but that was on Ethan Miller's lap number 192, getting into the back of Craig Tully.
Yep, we're seeing it right here. The 5 slows down, and looks like the 80 was trying to veer to the right because he was hard on the brakes and just got into the back of the 5, kind of sent him on around. So don't want to say no harm, no foul, because that was definitely a mistake on the 80's end. But you can see he goes way up high, gives that spot back, as does Caden Tufts in the 88 there down low. So, man, that's crazy. That's we're already doubled up here too with the green flag getting ready to fall. With this short of a racetrack, man, oh man, these guys are getting ready to go green.
It's the Diablo. And it's going to be Keith McClellan in the 30. Fires the hammer as soon as that Page truck gets out of the way, and back to business for the 30-car McClellan. But lots of side-by-side, door-to-door action. Look at that. The 98 Craig McDonald in the top 4 on the outside, trying to tuck in, and he will do so in front of the 56 of Stephen Matthews. But look at the outside, Kyle. We got a couple cars hanging out there. That's the 13 of Cassidy and Butcher hanging out to dry on the outside.
Great side-by-side racing off this restart. Richard Drake and Dave Cassidy. Whoa, look at the lapper! Oh my, contact! Dave Cassidy goes around. Corey Hall punts him in the door. Caution flag flies again. I have no idea where that car came from, but my goodness, did it throw a monkey wrench into that.
I don't know, but I want to replay on your voice reaction. And we're seeing another Pace truck endo again. So the Pace truck is like in the hop.
My goodness gracious, tough break to the 13 of Dave Cassidy. It was the 41 car of Jason Goss. Oh, he spun himself out. Well, no, he didn't spin himself out. But so it all starts there. Jason Goss, he gets some help. Looks like Danny Chisholm turns him coming off of turn number. Oh, yeah, Danny Chisholm definitely turns him coming off of turn number 4. He's kind of hanging out on the infield there, trying to wait for an opportunity to get back on the racetrack, and picked the wrong time, merged into a side-by-side battle with the leaders. Richard Drake just slides up into the 13 and spins poor Dave Cassidy around.
Oh, yes, Spide. He gets a little bit of a T-bone there, sends him off into... wouldn't even technically call that John Deere country because, well, that's all dirt up there. So comes back on down the racetrack here, looks left, looks right, everything's good, rejoins the racing service and jumps down into the racing groove. So Dave Cassidy in the number 13 going to be the first. Check that second car on well, he's dropping all the way back. He may very well be on pit road now. There you see it. So we'll bring it back live and take a look. We're seeing, looks like 9 cars here on the lead lap. Keith McClellan leading them all. And he's been out on track for 68 laps. P2, Riley Duncan, number 97. He's been out there for 61 laps. One thing to take a look at, the next 3 drivers, 141 of Richard Drake, Cole Butcher, and Stephen Matthews, they've made pit stops within the last 10 laps. And looking real quick, looking like a 12-second stop for the Richard Drake machine, 21-second stop for the Cole Butcher, and 10.7 for Stephen Matthews. So that's looking like 2 tires, 4 tires, 2 tires. I bet you that's going to be a factor for the end of this race.
Matthews has been down 4 times throughout this race. So like you said, he took 2 sides or 2 tires each time. So 4 fresh ones on Matthews. Probably going to have the biggest benefit, bang for the buck for the 56 for Stephen Matthews. But wow, what a race, boys. 45 to go. It's not over yet. The fat lady has not sung yet.
No, she has not. As mentioned, 45 laps to go here on the restart. Keith McClellan fires, and he is underway. So is the rest of the field. Riley Duncan's able to drop down into P2. Watch Cole Butcher in that 53. Restarted 4th. He's trying to take over 3rd on that top side that he has enjoyed using throughout a good portion of this race. Richard Drake trying to use that preferred bottom line and hang on to P3. But Cole Butcher, he is ahead of the 141, finding some steam. He's trying to get to the outside of Riley Duncan even. Look at how far high the 53 is going.
He is out there, and there's not a lot of room for him to jump back in. The 141 is tight to the back of the bumper of the 97 machine of Riley Duncan. So Cole Butcher has no other choice but to try to get in front of the 97 right now.
And it looks like it's working. He is using that outside groove to his. Whoa, he gets a little loose trying to fit in line in front of the 97. Now we're 3 wide for position number 3. Riley Duncan takes over second, still 3 wide, back to double file. 2 double file battles going on here. Great racing inside the top 5, 41 laps to go.
But look at the rebound by the 53. You know, he was all the way out there hanging out to dry, but manages to come out. He will clear the 97. Riley Duncan. Butcher with the big move here. It looks like the outside line is developing as Rachel Richard. The 141 is on the outside once again now, trying to make it work now on the 97 of Duncan.
Yeah, these guys are starting to pick up on what Cole Butcher is doing. 141 Richard Drake is to the outside. The 98 of Craig McDonald is on the outside, and we're currently riding on board with the 56 of Stephen Matthews. He has not been able to get the race lead back since he lost it earlier on during the green flag pit stop cycle, but now that bottom side's looking strong here, Mike. Riley Duncan has taken over third, Stephen Matthews moves into fourth, and now Nick Codner, the recipient of the free pass award, that previous caution, he is working his way back into the top 5.
Codner doing a great job on the bottom, but look at McDonald. Had to check up behind the 141. The 98 looking like a little bit quicker on the outside than the 141, but now Riley Duncan gets pushed to the outside by the 56. The door opens and McDonald drops to the bottom behind the 54 of Codner. Look at this. Stephen Matthews in the 56 now making a huge move.
We've got big time trouble again. It is the 88 of Caden Tufts finding the receiving end of some hard contact. This time, does it come from Danny Chisholm again? It does. Danny Chisholm has been one aggressive driver here tonight. That is at least the second time that he has turned somebody around. And again, Caden Tufts is the odd man out. Travis Roma getting collected there. They all kind of straighten it out, but that does bring out the caution flag. Danny Chisholm, Caden Tufts, Travis Roma all having a meeting of the minds that are in turn 2.
Pulling up the Shed Life Shed Movers instant replay, and you can see the 87 gets in the back of the 88 and gives him a little bit of a shot, lets him know he's there, and he shoots on all the way down low and nowhere to go. It looks like the 87 and the 88 both slam on the brakes. Gets the 38 involved. He's trying to get on by. Looks like everybody's able to point the cars in the right direction, but not after slamming into each other. Tough break for these guys. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the end of the race here. A lot of the give and take is gone, and it's take. So, man, these guys doing a great job trying to make their way up to the front. We're looking at 10 cars on the lead lap. Keith McClellan, though, still up front in the catbird seat in that beautiful blue Bud Light machine.
Nick Codner on pit road from the Torbay native, the DC Auto Machine. Maybe a little bit of strategy right now. Is going to be on the lead lap in 10th position. Corey Hall on pit road as well. So he's going to pick up 2 tires here. I believe that's Craig McDonald as well on pit road. No, that's Mike Alexander, the 75. He's down 72 laps, so he is retired for the evening, I believe.
Worth mentioning that Corey Hall was the recipient of the free pass under this caution flag, so he now gets to rejoin the lead lap cars and coming down pit road there to get some rubber, take advantage of the tires that he has left over. Going to have less than 30 laps of green flag racing here to decide this Tranquility Online 250. What a race it has been. We've seen a lot of action, to say the least. A 140-lap green flag run coming to an end abruptly during green flag pit stops and kind of throwing everybody through a loop. And now Corey Hall, a dominant, well, I won't say dominant, but a very good car early on in this race, had some troubles. Now he will rejoin the lead lap. Of course, he has to start at the very back of the field as a part of that free pass award, but it'll be fun to see if he has anything to improve his run and get a good finish.
I don't know how old you are, Kyle, but this is almost like the final episode of Dallas and Who Killed JR, but it's going to be the 30 gets the hammer, the 53 on the outside. Look at the restart on Cole Butcher in the 53. 2 wide for the lead.
Oh, we got some beating and banging going on. Matthew Barkhouse and Caden Tuss are bouncing off each other further in the field, but Watch this battle for the lead. Cole Butcher has been using the top side to make some passes. He got to restart out there, which is the line that he has chosen to run on his own. Can he make it work for the race lead? Keith McClellan, the Bud Light number 30, doing a great job on the bottom. But look who's coming into the battle. The 56 of Stephen Matthews, the best car, the highest lap leader all night long. He is underneath the 53 for second. Can he get back to the race lead and potentially cap off the dominating run that he had in the first half of this thing?
Well, look at the strategy of the 53 as he goes all the way out and then swings back in. 53 of Cole Butcher trying to make that outside line, but now the 56 tucks his nose in there, and now Craig McDonald with a little tap, tap, tap on the 53 to the rear quarter. McDonald wants to get into this love show for the top 4.
Impressive run for the 98 machine of Craig Oh no, Cole Butcher gets turned! Richard Drake hits Cole Butcher in the left rear and turns the 53 into pit road. Oh my goodness, with 25 laps to go, the thriller, Cole Butcher using the top side line gets turned out of a top 5 spot. A few other drivers get collected as well. I see Craig Tully and Matthew Barkhouse are in it. Oh my gosh, what a miserable night it's been for the 88 of Caden Tufts. He got a piece. Danny Chisholm involved. Oh man, Cole Butcher turned around. What a bummer. He was so exciting to watch tonight.
Oh my God, are you okay, Kyle? should we send the ambulance?
Battle of
I can
attrition
tell you,
for
Paul, before we go to this replay, all the fans that are watching, all 65 of you, you need to share that button and get everybody on board, because the last 25 laps here are going to be insane.
Oh, yeah. Business is about to pick up here at Verdane TV for the Tranquility Super Late Models here for another Tim's Corner Motorsports special event. You see Rational Richard Drake, not so rational there. Gets into the 53, sends him on around the 57, gives him a little bit of a shot. Everybody trying to check up, and unfortunately nowhere for those guys to go as the racing groove was completely clogged out. So you see the 13 involved. The 5 was able to gather it back up, grab a gear, and get on going. And not going to linger on the replay too much because, man, oh man, here at Oxford Plains, as short as this track is, we're going to be getting ready to stack them up 2 by 2 and get going again. You know, one of those things, I was actually going to make the joke earlier, but there was no time. You ever want to test out a couple of announcers, just throw them in the booth here at Oxford Plains, because there is no time to rest, as these cats here for Tim's Corner Motorsports putting on one heck of a show. Action-packed from flag to flag so far. Got about 20 laps here. I'm probably going to restart with about 18 laps to go. These guys putting on an absolute clinic. So just want to take a quick opportunity. Thank everybody watching here on Verdane TV. Everybody over on the Facebook pages for Tim's Corner Motorsports and Verdane TV. If you don't already, be sure to like and share. Share the video feed too. Share it on your Facebook page and on your team page and everything like that. It definitely does us a lot of good. And also check us out on YouTube. Be sure to load that up on the big screen, the TV, if you will, because we got a beautiful 1080p stream over there on YouTube, and it looks good on a smart TV with the YouTube app. And any gamers out there, be sure to check us out over there on Twitch, twitch.tv/Verdane Racing TV. We're trying to build that page up here in the coming next few weeks or so, but man, oh man, restarting here. Looks like we got about 25-30 laps to go, boys. Keith McClellan and that Bud Light machine still leading 2 by 2 all the way through, lined up, ready to go back green.
Stop talking, Paul. Look at the front row. The 56, Steve Matthews on the outside. Wow, wow, wow. Who killed JR, Paul? And look at that green flag, Kyle, and Steve Matthews takes full advantage of that and does a beautiful job. Look at the 2 wide racing all the way back to the top 10. Codner on the outside of the 98 and the 56. Got to get to the bottom here and pinch the 30 down like we were seeing with Cole Butcher. Does the 56 have something for us for the final 16 laps here? It is Oxford Tranquility 250 presented by DC Auto, and damn, everybody's on the seat on the edge.
Oh, we're getting aggressive here, Mike. Craig McDonald into the back bumper of Keith McClellan. Arlington tries to turn back into him. Craig McDonald goes to the race lead. Nick Codner, he was the free pass recipient 2 cautions ago, and now he is in second place with an opportunity to take the race lead. Keith McClellan drops back to 4th. Stephen Matthews back to 3rd. Oh my goodness gracious, it is down to crunch time, folks. Look out, Stephen Lively trying to rejoin the racing surface right in front of some of the leaders. That was a dangerous move there. 15 laps to go. It is Craig McDonald from an LCQ in 20th place on the grid in the race lead.
And just so you know, folks, the 98 and the 54 Codner, two young guns from Atlantic Canada. Codner from Torbay, part of the DC Auto team, and the M&R Performance. Lots of pressure right now from Codner as he came up on the back bumper. Lap traffic now coming into play. The 56 is also within striking distance. Stephen Matthews, who led half the race here, 150 laps for the 56 team, but look at this, the 54 takes a little peek to the inside, and also on the next car to go down a lap, Jason Goss, a DC Auto team, could be a pick here.
11 laps to go will remain once we hit the line. Keith McClellan starting to struggle to keep up with your top three. Craig McDonald and Nick Codner, both of them came from the last chance, one of the last chance qualifiers earlier tonight. They started 19th and 20th and are running in the top two positions at the moment. These guys have had an incredible night. Remember, in that LCQ feature, they started in the worst two positions in that LCQ. They started 10th and 11th and took the final two transfer spots and finished 3rd and 4th. Well, no, I ruined that. Actually, that was Stephen Lively. But either way, Craig McDonald started worst in his LCQ, finished in 3rd to qualify, started in 20th out of 22, and is now leading this race coming to 8 laps to go. Can Craig McDonald pull off the ultimate comeback and win the Tranquility Online 250?
Well, Jason Goss has entered the picture here in front of the 98, and it's a little bit of a Shakespeare Romeo and Juliet right now for the top three. The 98 of McDonald trying to fend off the 54 of Codner and the 56 Universal Environment. Stephen Matthews, man, oh man, crank it up, swipe it up, become a fan. The final 6 laps are going to be a goodie.
Looks like it's going to come down to a 3-car race here. Craig McDonald in the 98 leads, the 54 of Nick Codner in second, and Stephen Matthews in position number 3, driving that red and black number 56 car. This time by, the flagger is going to show them a handful. 5 laps remain in the Tranquility Online 250. Can Craig McDonald hang on to this race lead and score the win? Does Nick Codner have anything to say about it? Again, he was a lap down 2 cautions ago. Now he's fighting for the win, and Stephen Matthews trying to cap off the super impressive run that he had in the first half of this thing and wants to win, but time's starting to run out.
Codner needs to really stay in close to the 98 so that he's within striking distance. Maybe possibly a little scrub, but that scrub has to come at the right time. You don't want to throw it too early, because that 98 could make a comeback if it's shot too early. So 3 laps to go here. And look at that. Barkhouse is in the way. The 98 gives him a bump. And look at that. The 54 almost into the 15. But lap traffic is definitely a factor in the final 2 laps, Kyle. This is going to be wild.
Craig McDonald wanted nothing to do with Matthew Barkhouse. Immediately shoved him out of the way. The white flag flies. Final lap in the Tranquility Online 250. Craig McDonald missed his heat race, finished dead last, started last in his LCQ, finished 3rd to transfer, started 20th in this race out of 22 starters, and he will go to victory lane. The Tranquility Online 250 goes to Craig McDonald from 20th place starting spot on this grid. What a drive that number 98 car, the Robbie's Towing Machine, pulled off tonight. Nick Codner will finish in position number 2. Stephen Matthews has to be a heartbreaker. Led the most laps tonight, finishes in 3rd. Keith McClellan falls to 4th. And a great recovery for Cole Butcher after getting spun late in this race. He rounds out the top 5. You know, I got to be honest with you, Mike. I could tell that you were a bit of a Craig McDonald fan, hyping him up throughout the earlier stages of this event. And it didn't look like he was even going to make this show. He looked like he was going to miss it by a mile, and he won the whole thing.
It's unbelievable. Last night he finished 3rd with the new ARCA damage model. He had the hood up in the windshield and finished 3rd. But let's talk about Nick Codner, the 54 from Torbay. Unbelievable run. Super clean at the end. Did not throw the bumper there. Craig McDonald had the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse there. Almost played a factor there, but unfortunate for Stephen Matthews. The 56 team running a great race, leading over half. A little bit different strategy with over 4 stops on pit road. Did not work out, as we seen Nick Cotter and Craig McDonald with 2 pit stops and made it work for him. But unbelievable night. I got a feeling we know who killed JR, Paul.
Alrighty, so we will, as we get things settled in here, we got our race drivers starting to climb out of their cars on pit road. We will give ourselves our first little break here before we get to talk to some of these guys, and we'll send this on over for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will talk to the top 3 finishers of tonight's Tranquility Online 250 here at Oxford Plains Speedway.
Living with anxiety or depression can make everyday situations and interactions seem impossible. And getting the right help can be expensive and inconvenient. We're changing that with Tranquility. Our program follows the highly effective gold standard, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people change negative thoughts and unhelpful behaviors by teaching them skills to practice in real life. Using Tranquility is convenient. You can move at your own pace from your phone or computer, and you don't have to do it alone. Your one-on-one coach is there to help keep you motivated and supported all the way through. If you're ready to unlock the tools you need to approach the day with confidence, visit tranquility.app to sign up for a free trial.
Showtime Stevie Stamos. Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends that Rent a Race Car, you can! Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races. Touchdown!
Man, was that a wrestling commercial or was that Rick?
Back here at the Oxford Plains Speedway, where we have just seen a wild Tranquility Online 250. We have witnessed Craig McDonald pull off a massive come-from-behind victory and steals the win here tonight. We will get our words with him here in just a little bit, but first off, I have met up with our runner-up finisher here, driver the number 54 car, Nick Codner. Nick, you had yourself quite a troublesome and triumphant night as well. You had to go through one of our LCQs, did a good job at transferring through that, finished in 3rd place in your LCQ, but it sets you up a bit deep for this feature. You started back in 19th place with the penultimate caution of the race. You got the free pass to come back on the lead lap, and you charged through the field to finish in 2nd. How about that, man?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I didn't even get a qualifying lap in. I got an off track or whatever it was, and then I was happy to make the feature, and I knew we were really fast, and I knew Craig and the 15 were with me in the back, so I was hoping just to follow them up through. And we ended up going a lap down. When that caution came out, we pitted just a lap too early, and we finally got back, and we took tires there, the caution after Craig did. And I knew I could keep with him for a little bit, but after that, we didn't have much for him.
We opened this race with a 140-lap green flag run, and we really didn't know when or even if we were going to get a caution flag. And I think surprising to just about all of us, we actually saw green flag pit stops here at Oxford Plains. Talk us through some of the differences in the strategies. You guys are starting to get comfortable with a long run, making green flag pit stops, and then boom, caution with 110 laps to go, and everything just completely switched. The intensity ramped up immediately from that point on.
Yeah, I had my teammate up in front of me, the 41 of Jason Goss. I was just following whatever he did, and I ended up hitting a lap before he did, which sucked in my part, and I had to go a lap down. But since I had a poor qualifying effort, I had to start in the W-shaped pit behind where all the top 18 pitted. So me and Craig had a big disadvantage for pitting for sure. So it was pretty tough getting on that pit road, but it worked out, and we got our 4 tires, and hustled back out.
We also saw a very wide range of track condition changes. We actually saw the outside line be quite prevalent there in those later stages. What kind of things were you able to see from the cockpit, and how this racetrack actually widened out and actually gave you guys some options to use instead of just run right around the inside?
Yeah, I first saw it when the 15 absolutely blew past me. I didn't even know what was going on. I thought he had fresh tires, and I just followed him. And I seen him when he hit the top, and the track was getting a little bit slick on the bottom. And if you just got to someone and you knew you were faster, you couldn't pass him. You jumped up on the outside lane and tried to get around him. You'd pinch him down coming off the corners, and everything just really went perfect for us. Besides going that lap down, everything was crazy. I couldn't believe how we got back on the lead lap, and I knew we were fast, which was really good. So that's all I got.
A fast car, a great attitude, and a phenomenal result for the 54 of Nick Codner. Nick, anybody that you would like to thank here for your performance today?
My first one, obviously, again, is my parents. They do so much for me with iRacing in real life, and they're so supportive of how I do in all these races, and they want me to keep going, and they want me to race, and it's so good. It's great because, when you get these finishes and you go up and you talk to them, and we just talked about 100, 250 laps, and we get some hugs in, and it's so crazy. And DC Auto sponsors some of the races this weekend. He's a sponsor in real life and in the iRacing, so huge shout out to him. And also Jason Goss, my teammate. He was I think he got a bit unfortunate and he ended up going a lap down, so that sucks for him, but a great overall finish for us.
Indeed it was, Nick. Congratulations on a great second place finish. The 54 car, Nick Codner, your runner-up here in tonight's Tranquility Online 250 at the Oxford Plains Speedway. I will send things on over to Mike, where we'll go from one triumphant story to another. Your race winner, Craig McDonald. I'm looking forward to hearing this one.
Well, a big shout out to Nick Codner. What a race, man, that young lad has done, and unbelievable. I can only imagine what the Codner household is like right now. But we're going to go over to Craig McDonald. Craig, do I got you?
No.
2 nights in a row, top 3, but tonight you finally put it in victory lane. Last night you had a little damage on the front and managed to put it into top 3 with the hood in the windshield. Man, oh man, what a night. You missed the heat race. You had to go to the LCQ, and then you went from all the way to the back, just like Codner, and take this beautiful win here tonight. How's it going, buddy? Take us through some of the triumphs tonight.
Honestly, the night started with me not even planning to run the race, and then my buddy Corey messaged me. He's like, "Come on, race!" So as I'm driving home, I had to talk my mother and through turning on my computer and getting it logged in and all signed up. So when I came home, it was at least up and ready, and that's why I kind of missed my heat race, which was kind of dumb on my behalf. And then in the LCQ, I got lucky. I made a dumb mistake trying to pass somebody, got them free, lost a bunch of ground, and then wasn't for a caution, I wouldn't have made it in. And then the race was just nuts. Like the start of the race, I kind of took the Mike Alexander approach, and I just kind of chilled and let the positions come to me. Don't try not to force too much. But honestly, I wasn't expecting as long of a green flag stretch as we had to start it. I was getting a little wore out, and then I decided to pit on the green. And because I started so far in the back, I'm so used to my pit stall being like with everybody else on the front row, and I end up losing a lot because I went down the wrong end and had to pit again. This time, actually getting my tires, and then I just tried to stay as calm as I could until the end, and apologize to everyone watching who saw that move I pulled to win. That's normally not my style, but I was taught at a young age, to give what you get. And in the late model race there Monday that wasn't broadcasted, Keith decided to give me a shot on a restart, try and get by me, and luckily I saved it. And so when I was restarting third with a lot fresher tires, that was kind of creeping in my mind. So I know this track, Keith would do the same thing I would in his position. He would hold the bottom, and this track's hard to pass around. So I just saw my shot and I had to take it.
Yeah, at the end of the race, a little bit a lot of I can't say that word because I'm from Newfoundland. So, but a lot of
calamity.
Yeah, not calamity. That's another word. But a lot of sportsmanship from your competitors there. Nick Codner coming up. Yeah, I can't say that word. I'm from Gander, Newfoundland. We don't say that word. the tongue twister. But a lot of sportsmanship from your competitors. Keith McClellan gave you a little tap there. Connor came up to the door. So pretty awesome to see. No one really big route there. So pretty awesome to see you finish up there with a clean race. So anybody that you want to thank in real life and tonight?
I'd like to obviously thank CHR for in real life for setting up my race car, and he's going to kind of convince me to come on tonight. Overall Collision, GNS Racing, Crap Robbie's Trucking, King Freight Line, King Racing. Without all them in real life, I wouldn't be able to do it. And of course, my awesome mother, who in real life supports, encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing, and she's always at the track there supporting me.
A lot of changes right now in Atlantic Canada, including Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. We're seeing Miramichi open up a little bit more. They're opening up the stands now. There was a press release let go this morning. Any exciting news in your stable where you're going to be racing in the future?
For this season, if my home track opens up, I'll definitely test there this year. Waiting on a few parts in the mail for the race car, and then it'll be pretty much ready to rock. And if we end up racing this year, you might see me out at a local Friday night race. But right now, my goal is just to shake down the new car, break it in, and head. So long as the border's open by then, which hopefully it is, come February, I'll be going to Florida to race my Legend car at the Legend Nationals or Winter Nationals.
Well, it will be pretty exciting today in Newfoundland. We just found out that we will join the Atlantic Canadian bubble, as you say, PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland coming together. Maybe one day we might see you on the rock, but really excited to see you here at the DC Auto Oxford 500 weekend. 2 top 3s for you, Craig. Very big congratulations from all of us from TCM, and hope to see you soon in the near future.
Thanks, guys, and I just want to say thanks, Tim and DCR, for putting on this week. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laps, and a lot of good.
And there you go, race winner Craig McDonald in the 98 machine. What a run, Kyle! I believe we have our race leader for half the race, the 56. Stephen Matthews is with us.
Yeah, indeed, he is. I know that this is probably going to be a bit of a painful interview for you, Stephen, but still a lot of success in tonight's Tranquility Online 250. Leading over half of this race during that long green flag run, you were one of the drivers that decided to make a pit stop during that green flag cycle, and it didn't necessarily seem to hurt you too bad. You were able to get back on the lead lap during that caution flag, but just never quite saw the race lead again.
No, Kyle, we had a stellar piece tonight. This is one of my favorite tracks on the sim, and just really enjoy running. It suits my style, and the pit stop almost went 100%. We didn't miscommunication in the fuel department. Took 4 tires, no fuel, and we were down like 0.2 left when the caution came out. So it kind of saved us, and then we got the lucky dog. So everything kind of fell in line for us for once there, and we got back on the lead lap and just started plugging away. And it's so hard to pass here at Oxford. The lap cars play a big factor in it, and everybody for the most part was pretty good tonight. And I mean, hats off to Craig. He did what he had to do, and Nick, and I'm pretty happy actually. It was a good race, a lot of fun. Wore out.
I can imagine that for sure. I asked our second place finisher, Nick Conner, this, and I'm curious to get your take on it as well. I don't think I've ever seen this racetrack be as racy as it was tonight. We actually saw a lot of people using that outside line to make some passes, and I know that you had kind of experimented with that a little bit throughout the later stages of that race. Talk us through some of those track changes, how the groove was able to widen up. We heard from Nick say that the bottom of the racetrack was kind of getting a little greasy and was hard to run after a while. What kind of challenges were presented to you, and some of the advantages of having the track widen out as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That first part of the race, that first long green flag, everybody's pretty much, coming straight into the corners. They're not rounding it up and arcing it in. So because everybody's nose to tail, you can't open up the bottom. But once things fan out through the field, you can start to open up the corner a little bit. And take it a little bit easier on the tires and find some of that good stuff, the good clean asphalt there to get some grip.
Sure was a wild race to watch.
I don't know what happened there.
I think we lost Kyle. Steve, congratulations. Steve, you got us now, Kyle?
Yeah, I guess my push to talk button on my microphone acting a little bit funky right there. My apologies for that. So, Stephen, we'll give this opportunity for you to thank anybody that you would like to. Obviously, not the finish that you were hoping for, and really what you were working towards, but still a great third place finish and an awesome run in tonight's Tranquility Online 2.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Kyle. Thanks to you guys for putting all this on. Vidane TV, TCM, Tranquility, DC, and all the sponsors that took part in this over the last few months during this challenging time. But it's a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank Josh Collins. He helps me out there with my real deal, and got the Laker on the sim car here, Super Late. Got to thank Pat Healy. And all the boys at NBNS Racing, and Byron Bartlett, he brought me through the field there tonight. He was spotting for me, so thanks a lot to him. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks.
Well, so there you have it. Third place finisher Stephen Matthews, the number 56 machine, led over the first half of this race during that long green flag run. Had some issues working his way back through the field, and had some pit stop issues as well. I guess that answered some of our questions as to why he made a second pit stop as soon as that caution flag had come out. But either way, a strong run for Steve Matthews, and he comes home in position number 3. So seeing that we have him here, we talked to him just briefly before we went green. Tim, we'll get your thoughts. Man, what a wild race. That was extremely enjoyable to call.
It was. We had a couple of close calls at the very start of this race with a couple of cautions and what have you. At the end of the day, it was a decent race. We had that issue, and we mentioned in Heat 3 where we had that issue of those guys lining up and restarting single file. We had that again on lap 140, whatever it was, on that first caution of the evening. So not sure what that was. We'll take a look at it and see if we can send a report into iRacing. But nevertheless, these guys continue to amaze me. 100 and something laps green at the start of this one, and very exciting finish at the end. I know Keith's probably not very happy with the way it ended up, but it's short track racing at the end of the day, and hopefully we can keep the tempers in check for at least one more week before we go back to real racing. Congratulations to Craig, Nick, and Steve. Great show tonight. Keith put up a hell of a job too. Cole Butcher was up front for a while. Considering it was Oxford and considering some of the racing we had earlier in the week, it was a very entertaining race. So looking forward to the next week. We're going to have some fun on Sunday. We're going super speedway racing with the truck. We changed from the legacy truck to the regular truck. We get to showcase the Ford F-150 if anybody has that. So that's going to be fun. So Talladega on Sunday. Monday is the Tranquility Showcase Open. That is for the drivers that have not won a race with us yet. They'll have an opportunity to come in, race 125 laps at 5 flags. There's a couple of bonuses on the line scattered throughout that as well. And then on Thursday, it is the Tranquility All Star Showcase. It's the season finale for us. We've got a $500 purse, and I think it might be growing just a touch here in the next day or so. So we might see a little more money in there. Top 10 are going to get paid, get 174 laps sponsored. It's going to be a fun little show next Thursday. Kyle is in it because of the IWK Triple Threat win. And you look at the top 3 tonight, they've all won races. They're all going to be in it. Keith Mack is going to try to make it through that last chance qualifier. And actually, if you're within earshot, if you haven't qualified yet for that showcase, there's one more qualifier coming up on Sunday, and there's also one here in about 2 minutes' time in hosted under tournament. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get in, that's your opportunity. Parts Trucks Pro Stock Tour is back on Tuesday as well. The Nova Truck Center's 150. So it's going to be a busy week with us here on Vidane, Kyle. Thank you, and thank Mike. Thank DC Auto, Doug Critch. I know those boys had a tough night in the 41 camp, but glad to see them back out. And thank you huge to Doug for sponsoring this week, along with Tranquility, Mark, and Joel. Without them, we wouldn't be doing this. It's plain and simple. And they've stepped up once again for the All Star Showcase. So thanks to Mark and thanks to Joel. And looking forward to having a couple of, I think Mike calls them wobbly pops with them when we go down to Lake Dowsett this year. So that's it. I'm done. Paul, are we ready to clean this off and dust this off?
Yeah, I got to put everything back in the production trailer. Fantastic race here tonight. As always, here at the Tranquility Super Late Models. I'd go through the schedule over the next week, but it's pretty much a gaggle of Tim's Corner Motorsports, which is pretty exciting. Always good to work with you, Tim, and everybody that you bring on board here. Do want to make mention, though, tomorrow night we've got the East Coast Winter League. Dylan Kopech and his league, they're putting on the East Coast Classic, running the 1987 Cup cars at North Wilkesboro Speedway, so that's going to be a fantastic show there. Looks like he's got about 25 to 30 cars signed up for that feature event tomorrow night. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Tim already went through all of his stuff throughout the pretty much next week. Monday night, we do want to make mention, we're running 3 shows, the Tim's Corner Motorsports All Star Open, as well as the Crash Dummy Invitational at 9 o'clock, and the Florida Pro Truck Series at 8 o'clock. So going to be doing a little bit of dual stream action there. A couple of producers in the works at the same time, so be sure to check out the Facebook pages for all of that information. But yeah, I think that's going to about do it here for us at Vidane TV tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching over on Facebook Live on Tim's Corner Motorsports page, as well as the Vidane TV page. Be sure to like and follow, share, let your friends know you watch some live racing action. And you know what? It was some pretty damn good racing. I was able to watch the whole race as I do here in the production trailer, and I was entertained, so you definitely should have been entertained as well. But definitely shoot over to the YouTube page, watch the replay on the big screen, hook it up on the YouTube app, 1080p live stream there, and be able to check the replays out there. And any gamers that are out there, shoot on over to our Twitch page and give us a follow, twitch.tv/Vidane Racing TV. But that's going to do us here for tonight. Vidane TV, everybody here.
Paul. Wait,
yeah,
Paul.
Mike, shoot.
Wait, Paul, I got something for you.
Shoot. No, we got some of that. That's going to be our cue to shut the microphones off. But for everybody here at Vidane TV, Tim's Corner Motorsports, Tranquility Super Late Models, thank you guys for coming out, watching us, spending your evenings here with us. We'll see you tomorrow night as we do the East Coast Classic there for the East Coast Winter League. Thanks for coming out. Catch you guys on the flip side.